I just felt like going live, so go figure. It's like I'm not subscribed to myself. Try to check and see if it says I'm on live, but don't do it though. See if I find myself. Let's say that I'm live. Since I obviously can't get my own notifications. Let's go YouTube/com, youtube.com/user/ breaking news. There it is. It says I'm live. There we go. Okay. Well, Happy New Year. Now, I always got to drill somebody. Hold on now. Let me get 5 minutes. No, 15 minutes. Can I get 15 minutes now the vibes? I need an interview. Let me see. Check. Before I get started with anything today, I want to start the new year off with an interview with Nyla Vibes. Let's see if she's ready on the spot. Ooh. Ooh. 15 minutes. Let me get my slide ready. See, and it's crazy too. Like anyway, you'll see when we get here. Make sure I got the right one up. Okay. Slideshow from the beginning. Yeah, I just felt like going live one time, man. It's the new year, so hopefully if I start off doing content, I can have a stronger year doing content. We'll be all right. Now, let's see. Okay. Good to go. Who we got joining us? We got joining us in the building. A couple more come on in. Come on in. Be sure to hit that like as you come on in. Son Burton, what's good? I know Miss Beyond Me definitely gets notifications because I was gonna go live before it dropped. Then I was like, nah, I ain't finna go live. But I was in the process of creating a live, and that motherfucker came right on in there. There we go. The GOAT. Now, if I get an interview with the GOAT to start the new year off, I'm gonna need 15 minutes for sure. Because some of these dudes, man, I don't think they on the level to actually debate some of the things that I would debate. And so I got to see if it's me or if it's something else, man. Because I don't think that I'm too good to have an open discussion. But shit, some of these dudes open discussions, like my dude Rozzy. I know he'll probably come later. It don't matter what the conversation could be. Rozzy is going to get it back on relationships. He is going to talk about that paradigm every time. Never fails. Every time. What's good with the GOAT?
What's happening with you, bro? What's good?
Oh man, chilling. So yeah, I got a
Yeah, I
whole
just seen
different
you.
slide for you to.
Yeah, I just pulled up. Shit, I see you fired up, man. I'm working on something for real. So by the time you get done, I probably had this ready to put out. So yeah, I'm here.
That's what's up. Appreciate it. So I got you. Can you see the screen or are you driving or something?
No, I see the screen. No, I'm good.
All
I had
right,
to
so I
hurry up and
got
get
you.
my ass back in the building, dog, for the damn blizzard hit.
Y'all got a blizzard?
Snowstorm.
Where the hell y'all at?
Shit, Chicago now.
Yeah, you be on the move. I don't know if it's Chicago, Mississippi. You might be going to go look at the Mississippi mountains or something, and you know, you might be getting
Yeah, I
ready
was.
for a
Shit, we
whole
was.
nother
Yeah, we was over
year.
there with my moms and shit. Yeah, we was ducked off
Well,
in
how's my boo
Ohio
doing?
yesterday, man. My mom's and shit. But yeah, she good. Everything good, man. I saw her, my brother, my son, and shit. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, everybody good and shit. But yeah, I got a little alert last night that said it was a blizzard headed this way. So you know, we fly out in a couple of days. We ain't trying to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hurry up and get on back here.
Shit, I know that's right. It was like 31 degrees here in Phoenix last night. I said
Bird,
31. Why
man.
the hell did I move to the desert, man? That it's true when they just like the desert gets cold too. It was yawking out here. I couldn't even bear it. I was almost like man, I had my jacket on and my hoodie in the house because you know me, I ain't trying to burn my energy like that, like putting the heat on and shit. I'm a cheap dude.
Right.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so the game is called Go. Um, I guess I got the concept after we was doing the Monopoly game, the red pillopoly game. But yeah, so you're gonna go off the top, or you're gonna go on the clock. All right, so go off the on the clock means that you know you agree with it. It's something that you know you can debate strongly. It's a 10. It's the most important. Anything like that. Off the top is maybe one of those topics that's like, well, I don't got the best knowledge, or I wouldn't debate it, or either I'm absolutely against it and we can debate it. And so just read the option out loud before the time stops. This is how the game is going to be constructed and shit. I'm putting together like the little time clock of the little thing, something like this image here, to where it's going to be like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, or so forth, however much time it's going to take. You know what I'm saying? I got another one that I want to create with like a mic. So read the option out loud before the mic drops, something like that, just to try to get these niggas more activated on. Like, I feel like I got to mentor these niggas in the debate league to get them up to speed and shit. So I got to tutor these niggas to get them right. But in any event, so there's a clock that I'm gonna create. So off the top means that you know what I'm saying it's on the left. You get like the little red light or whatever it is. You know that's not my shit.
Nile in
And
the
then
back, bro.
oh, perfect. So you want me to do her interview first because I got her slides ready too.
Go ahead.
Hers or yours, eh?
Ladies first.
Oh, burn the cake, burn the cake. All right.
What's
Let me finish
up?
explaining
What's
so we
up?
can come back to it. What's good with Nyla says? Nyla's vibes. They thought about something. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Brother
Happy
Moses.
New Year, brother.
See, I'm the
Wait,
man in
do I?
these
Is that
mixes.
my
Wait,
echo?
is that my echo?
Damn it, it could be.
Wait, let me
You
see.
might have YouTube still open.
No, I closed it,
No, I closed it.
and I'm on the computer.
And I'm
So,
on the computer.
You still hear the echo?
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yeah, because I turned my mic down. I turned my speakers down in the back, so can't be that.
You think I should go
I
out
should
and come back
go
in?
out again.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah, let me try.
Yeah, let me try.
I could do them both at the same time. I'm multifunctioning right now on the clock. I got some music and shit that I'm gonna put to it too. So basically, we'll see it a little bit later. Um, there it is. On a scale of like 1 to 10, we know how it is. If it's a 5, anything less than a 5 is not worth even considering debating and shit. So it would fall in these categories: 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But anything from a 6 to 10 is definitely on the clock, and then how strongly you feel about it would be all the way on the 10. All right, so off and on. The federal government is, you read the options to yourself, and then by the end of the time, you would choose which of these has the strongest statement or the strongest sentiment towards you. Which one do you feel is the close representative? How do you feel about the topics on there?
Go. So
That's for
what
you,
did I say?
Taz.
Go or I say? So which one?
Once you got yours in mind, you
That's
can
you
say
with that.
go, and
It's
then we
your
go to
echo.
the next card.
That's you with that.
Is it? Ain't that about it, bitch?
Oh
Oh, I
yeah,
got an
go.
echo.
Oh yeah, go.
What about now? I still got
Should
an
I say
echo.
goat, nigga? Should I say goat, nigga? No, we good. No, we good. Well, no, I hear it. I hear.
So
I
the
used to
echo
hear the echo. I hear it. I hear. I used to hear the echo.
is, oh, you know what it is? I know what it is then. It's got to be this. Let me stop sharing the screen. And then when I share the screen again, share the screen on the right. Don't share system audio. How about now? Still echoing? Echo's gone?
Echo's gone.
All right, so like when you said go right there, that would have stopped the clock. You still would have had time remaining on the clock. Now, the thing that I was really thinking about this game is only put like 5 minutes on the clock total anyway. Don't put that out there in the beginning of the game. Just be like, any questions? And then let it go. And because there's actually 10 cards to get through, and to see if somebody can actually get through all of the cards and then break down and find their actual debate point. But yeah, we'll rock with that one in a minute. Got an interview with Nyla Vibes. Switch over my PowerPoint. So this is the one where we're at. All right. So you got about 5 or 7 minutes from me, Nyla?
I absolutely do.
Okay, appreciate it. So, oh, damn it. I think I already deleted it. I was sending you all an email on, what was it, the 31st?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was the 30th, the night of the 30th. And I had like 5 questions I was going to ask for an interview, and it was going to be about the divestment topic. And I remember I never pushed send on it though. Um, what reminded me to bring it up though is that there was the divestment party last night, and I was like, wow, look at God, only do it like the energy, the universal energies was moving anyway. But for 2022, I don't want to sound like no jackass. You know me, I typically don't like to. I don't like when people try to put like a woman. What do you think about a woman who wants to divest and shit? They try to throw those questions out there, and I'd be like, man, I don't like to speak for women like that. I feel like as men, we got enough we should be focusing on rather than trying to be evasive. But at some point, it's going to come off as being condescending or evasive, or that and things like that. So I just want to make sure I'm on the right page with you all, or get at least a few more perspectives on divest. So divest, what does divest mean to you?
Divest for me means to separate yourself from anything that is a hindrance, a disruption of energy, oppression, anything that does not serve you. It's basically leaving it behind, removing it.
All right. What about the divester? How do you feel towards, in general, either the divester or what is a divester? Is that like a noun? A person is a divester?
You know what? I think it can be a noun and it can actually be an action as well. I feel like that is probably the most difficult of all questions because what divestment is for each individual is what it is for each individual, right? So some people may claim that another person is not divested based on what they're choosing to separate themselves from, right? So for me, a divester is anyone who has made the decision to take personal agency over themselves, over their reality, over their future, and over their decision making. Anybody willing to just personalize it and detach from maybe social, societal norms or the status quo.
How would you know when a woman is divested that you're speaking with?
Um, that is a woman that would be moving based on her own intellect, based on what serves her, um, based in the reality that she's inventing for herself and for her own best interest.
This one was hard for me, divesting, because it's like the process, and I know you've spoken on it. Um, Men divesting,
Mm-hmm.
is that a good thing, or where are we at on just the whole We know it's in the woman's best interest because of
Mhm.
safety, sanity, even the preservation of her womb,
Mhm.
children, the future. But for ourselves, um,
Well,
your,
I'm sorry. I want you to finish.
what would be your view?
I would say that divesting for people that are doing it, from an intellectual standpoint and from a standpoint that is not broken, right? Um, that would be the action of self preservation. And again, divestment is something that can be defined based on an individual basis because of individual desires and needs, and it's your own reality. So I do believe that divestment can be good for both men and women. Anyone should be seeking to remove themselves from any social constraints, any societal constraints, cultural, community, familial, um, no matter whatever it is that is hindering you from living your best life, from succeeding, from feeling good about yourself, whatever is stopping progress, you should be divesting from. Now, in terms of your reasoning for divesting, of course, I do believe that, and this is just me personally, I do believe that some people's form of divestment is toxic, because we can actually say that we can say that Hitler was divested. We can say that Mao Zedong was divested. We can say that many people were divested based on how they move and who they, chose to separate from and alienate, or what practices they choose to move away from. So I believe it can be good, if it's coming from a healthy and sincere place.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Let's see. I think I got all of those. Oh, okay. All right. And then you just spoke very well on the divestment. There's um, a different connotation with each of these. So I just want to make sure I was touching base and seeing what those look like.
Mhm.
What else did I have? Um, is divestment in uh, swirling?
Is divestment swirling?
Swirl.
Um, I don't think that divestment for most people is swirling. For some people, it is. It can be a component of swirling. From what my understanding is, divestment is supposed to be you removing support or removing your investment from those things that don't serve, right? And for some people, that may be their community, and for some people, they feel like that's their race. So, uh, you know divestment should be much broader than your dating and marital choices. It is about you getting the best outcome of your life, especially if we're talking about the community development. I mean, dynamic where people are having a very intrinsic issue with what's going on in our community as Black people, right? So if you're divesting, for me, from a healthy way, you're just removing anything unhealthy and you are investing that energy and time into creating what the outcome needs to be for you. Now, for me, a swirler is somebody whose motivation is specifically to be outside of their race. So divestment, in my opinion, should be rooted in bettering yourself, uh, raising your standards, taking ownership and taking control of your reality, over your actions, over your life, over your choices. But swirling is more rooted in just simply mixing.
Um, when I was thinking this through, I was trying to find images that best captured um, where I was at, like kind of on it, in the decisions that one makes and the alternatives that one um, has.
Mhm.
Is the Black woman in this image leaving this man that she had been with, or is she like? what happens in the relationship between the black man and the black woman who are already together, as either decides that divestment is a better option, or is
Either
considering
decides.
divesting.
So I think that's a good question. So if looking at this picture, it looks like the man is in a position of where he's trying to convince her of something. His body language is saying, listen to me, I'm right. He's trying to get through to her. And the woman's demeanor is, I'm not interested. My mind is made up. This is not serving me. Right. So I would say, you know, because we have to, imagine what's going on behind the picture. But if it's something that, is not serving her, um, this is the picture of, I guess, the beginning of what would be ending of a relationship, which could spark the divestment. Or it could just be ending of because I don't think that the ending of a relationship or a bad relationship, I don't think divestment should be rooted in just a relationship ending, or having a bad experience with one guy, or just having a bad relationship. I think divestment is much more complex than that. So I would have to actually know more about why she don't want to hear
Right,
it.
right. I like the analogy of looking behind the picture, whether we should or should not as well. We could come back to that though. But yeah, I like looking behind the picture because that allows us to humanize it rather than it just being a conceptual framework. And I know each person will say, well, if I look behind my own picture, here's some of the reasons that justify, me moving the hell on completely, rather than, how some folks, they want to divest, they may not know enough, or they may not have enough experience. In their own individualness yet. And so you can still kind of hear them when they're still on the fence a little bit. And from the guy's perspective, I picked this picture. It's a series of pictures because he does look like he's in a position of submission. When I look behind the picture, it looks like he's in a position of almost pleading. Like
Mhm,
behind the glasses, it looks like he had worked pretty hard to get into a relationship, maybe. So he's
mhm.
now not willing to lose it. And I see that his watch is too big. It's fucking on the wrong arm. I'm like, this dude is crazy as fuck. He needs a mentor. He needs everything right
He
now.
yeah, dude, he need a lineup.
Yeah, he got the. I can't talk about a struggle beer, but he's struggling. I'm getting
yeah.
I'm getting mine on, but this dude, yeah. But I could actually still see myself in it as well because I've been in that position in a relationship where I knew I had done something wrong, and so her
Mhm,
divestment, I believe, even from this picture, it's still, if he got to explain himself, what did he do? He doesn't
mhm,
look like he's accusatory. Basically, it doesn't look like
mhm.
he's calling her something. It looks like she's the one who's making a choice. So yeah. All right, next one. If we can look behind the picture and see what we see there as well.
Um, okay, so this for me, it's when I look at this picture, I see detachment. She's not hearing it. Um, like when usually, like, and I think men know this, when a woman intently stares off, not when she stares off just because she's annoyed or whatever, because typically that's a stare off and then a stare back and then maybe a stare off or stare back. But when it's dead locked out, she's gone. Okay, so she's actually, in my opinion, in this picture, she is contemplating her exit strategy. And he's more like, what do you want me to do? Look at me, listen to me. And she ain't thinking about him. She's thinking about her. She's somewhere else with it.
Right. Okay. I notice he does have his watch on the right arm this time. And even though he's pointing back at himself, I think that's a thing that um, shouldn't become the woman's issue, right? So the way that she's locking in into whatever it is she's focused on, I'm glad she's focused and it's not on him in this
Mhm.
image, because he's still trying to like bring the attention back on him as the black
Mhm.
man. And so I'm like,
And
nah, the
see,
attention does
actually,
not need to be on you.
this might actually be the perfect portrait of divestment. Because when we were just explaining it from the beginning, this is with coming from the perspective that she is still in some way connected to him, but making the disconnect. But actually, if you think of divestment, you have a black man sitting here telling, look at me, I'm the king. I'm a black man, listen to me, submit to me or whatever. She don't hear him. And I do believe that once you've divested, you don't. When you're not invested, it don't matter. He can sit there and put his watch on the right arm. He can go get his hair lined up. He can do all that stuff. And it don't matter.
That's right. All right. And then I think I had another one. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one as well.
Okay. So let's.
Oh, sorry. I'm not. My apologies. Go ahead. Gillette makes razors. I apologize for saying that. I'm a let. Like, I don't like those phrases.
Oh, no, it's better than I'm not one of those that have like those sorts of issues where you saying let offends me, or I feel like you were giving me an allowance for saying something.
Right. I be feeling offended in myself. Like, did I just say that shit?
No, and you know what? And if you start to feel offended by yourself, I think it's admirable that you do, but I feel like it's unnecessary. I don't feel like it's a good idea to be catering to people's mental illness. If you've done nothing wrong, okay, I can understand men tiptoeing around the women because of how so many women have been wronged and so many men make the rest of you guys look bad. So I can understand. And I think it's great when you guys can recognize that, hey, her issue may not be with me personally, but I look like everybody that's failed her or harmed her. I think it's great because that's, to me, that's where that energy comes from. However, having gone through stuff and having suffered some sort of bad experiences, not just bad experiences, just a bad connection from the community or whatever you want to call it, does not mean that you get to be offensive to others who haven't did anything to you. So I do not like to see brothers tiptoeing. I understand the extra caution, and I think that that's good, but I don't feel like men that are good, that are doing the right thing, have to break their back. Once you've shown respect to the woman and you've not done any harm, I don't feel that you have to break your back to prove to a woman that is not yours, that you're not trying to get, that you are worthy of basic human respect. So I really hope that, which you get people attracted to your message based on different times or whatever, different spaces and all this kind of stuff. So some people are going to be coming from that perspective, and hopefully we can help them evolve and learn the difference and not make others pay for what the majority did, which I know that you understand, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I think that it's bad to play into allowing women to disrespect men who have not done those things to them just because it's happened before. I think that's a bad practice too. In some kind of way, we got to find a happy medium. Because I don't believe in, I don't think that anybody deserves disrespect just because they're black and male. Do they deserve to be treated with caution? And you having an understanding that having an understanding of the reality that we live in, I think all women should proceed with caution with men, period. But we're in an internet space. And so I don't think that someone that is showing you basic, respect and courtesy should be feeling like they can't say, they got to change their whole language just because you're around. I don't believe that.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you see on the screen?
So the screen. Okay. I feel like she's looking, I don't know, she might be in her Chase app looking at the mortgage. I mean, if we look at her posture, she's upright. She looks like she's, she's contemplating, she's thinking, she's figuring, and she's handling her business, right? Or her obligations per se. I feel like he's so busy trying to make sure she's doing what she's doing that he's not even, his phone in timed out. He too busy. This man wearing the pants and the skirt. You know what I'm saying?
Don't trust them niggas in pink, man. Niggas in pink looking over your shoulder and shit. Like, what you doing? What you worried about what I'm doing for? And when I first saw this one, I was like, I got to get all three of these images. It was this one that made me say, okay, I think these would be a good storyboard at least. He looked like he'd greased up the scalp a little bit though. Check him out. He thought he was doing something for a second.
He didn't broke out the shea butter and the coconut oil. But yeah, he's still dusty.
Oh, see, a dusty man can't lather up every once in a while. He was clean there, though.
He can't look, he's got to do a whole transformation, okay? He can
but
have
he lined up the mustache and everything.
Right. He could line up. He could go get him a tailored suit, Windsor knot that tie, put on some Chanel cuffing, and and it won't matter. He still be dusty.
And Balenciaga hard bottoms just it's by his actions though. Like if this doesn't define it, then like what else do you need? Like the reason why is this overseer position that he thought he could assume.
Yeah, and he needs to be looking at what's in front of him because his phone about to time out, his screen about to time out, his connection about to stop, but she's intently focused and he's minding everybody's business but his own.
The invasion of privacy. Because you're in my proximity, you owe me your privacy. Whatever it is you're doing, I have the right to know it.
Yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff.
I could even see him saying, I pay that phone bill as a justification for him looking all into what she's doing, into her Chase app or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I believe that.
Are Black women indebted to the Black man?
No.
Divestor 2022. Thank you for your interview.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate you, Nyla Says, man. That's what's up, man. And I got to clip some of that. If that's all right.
That's fine with me.
Appreciate you.
All right. Peace.
That's how we start off 2022. Let's go. And we can multitask. Taz, you with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. You said go. It's going to change. It don't change too much, but it does change. All right. So we go to the clock. Did we do this one? Okay. All right. So you said go on this one. The federal government is. All right. Next card.
Yeah, but I gotta make sure I know the rules though, dog. Like I don't even for real. I'm saying go on some shit. Like I ain't even know what I'm saying go to, nigga. Like what that shit mean again, bro?
Right. You picked a statement that you felt was the strongest. All right. Let's run it back. Run it back. All right. So off the clock means that it's something I wouldn't debate. Is one of the weaker statements out of the 5. 10 means it's the strongest one that you pick. You know what I'm saying? It's just the one that stands out. Sometimes people want to stack rank them. Like I did it with my wife. She wanted to stack rank some of them, this one more than this one. And it just kind of goes off of what somebody's where your head is. So the federal
but see, you know me, man, I debate any of that shit, bro. That shit don't work for me. That's too difficult for me, nigga. Like, what do you want to debate, motherfucker? Like
right, I know we can do that, but go on with it first. Let me see where your head at. The federal government is. Now, say which one do you think is the strongest statement out loud? See, in the game, though, I get to say go to, though. First of all.
Okay. The
federal government over the state and local government. So go. Right,
yeah, go.
The federal government is next card
is designed to benefit white men.
Go.
Go.
Federal
yeah,
government
go.
is
go. Designed to benefit white men. The federal government is more powerful than the church. Go.
The federal government is
Oh, okay, hell no. The federal government is okay. None of them, bro. I'm not fucking with none of that. I don't like none of
So
them.
red card,
So what's the?
red card.
I can't fuck with none of them.
So that
That's bogus.
yeah, that would be the red card. That's off the clock.
Yeah, you
Federal
take
government
that off.
is.
Yeah, that's bogus. Detrimental. Go.
Woo! See, and that's where we were. I would agree on that. Go right there, and we could both go in on that when the federal government is. All right.
Yeah, that'd be detrimental to
Go.
us. Go.
Federal government is.
The most dangerous entity in the world, willing to use military force. Yeah, go. Yeah. I should say nah. Yeah, right.
Right.
Guilty of meddling in foreign policy. Yeah, go. Military coercion. Mm-hmm.
I see when if you would take guilty of meddling in foreign policy, I'd have to hot that card. I have to say I'd have to do that one off the clock. I don't know enough about the foreign policies. You know, Iraq, Iran. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go. Like somebody else could probably just run all of 1900s foreign policy interventions and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, me.
And because you
me.
spread that topic, you'll spread that topic and it'll be like, oh god damn, I can't rebut all of this shit. I can't rebut all of this shit. Nope.
We'll be on here talking about Muhammad. I had you niggas on here talking about the assassination of Muhammad Mossadegh, nigga, in 1952, nigga. Fuck, you know me. I dig out some bullshit.
But it's not bullshit. Like if you
foreign policy of the
motherfuckers don't got that though. That's what I'm telling you.
We say,
motherfuckers don't got that. They don't got it. Especially not for a time debate. So if you hit them with that type of argument, like when your debates, you would have slides, all of the slides would be on point. Motherfuckers wasn't able to rebut all of that shit. They wasn't able to keep up, basically. And so yeah. I would hot that card off the clock. Like we could just chop it up, but we wouldn't be able to do it in a debate style. Federal government is.
Monitoring communications. Go.
All right. So it gets a little bit different. So out of all of these cards, we would come back and we would say, which of these cards or which of these statements did you feel the strongest about? So we had the one that was, let me see, how did I break it down? I think this one was like, is it separate? Is it one and the same? So you had questions like, is it separate? Is it one and the same? The separation of church and state obviously was this question. Definitely the federal government is beneficial versus detrimental. This is, to me, this question deals more with okay, I got you. The next level of goal would be, what points would you use to make your, I think you just did it naturally, but what points would you use to make your claim?
Of which one on here? Yeah, because this is the one I said I wouldn't fuck with, ain't it?
You said, hell nah. You said it's the federal government is
detrimental.
Right, okay.
And so what I would use for that is a history of the detriment. You know what I'm saying? You know, coming from shit at 1808, outlaw the slave trade that they never actually implemented all the way up until now, where the federal government still does not necessarily oversee or have any true oversight over the states when things happen within them to black people. You know what I'm saying? So as in its current state, I would say the federal government is more of a detriment because they still don't have a hand over what the states can do. But they act like they do.
Let's check for consistency in the statements. All right. So you said it's a detriment, right? Let's make sure the federal
Absolutely.
government is a. What was your answer to this one?
I think a tool and function of global white supremacy.
Okay, yep. Because I know you answer later, so you say it's a tool and function. Then we come back and say
The federal government is the three branches of government
that are a tool and function of global white supremacy. The federal government is, let me see.
designed to benefit white men.
So yeah, that would be one strong statement. That is more powerful than the church, right?
Right.
Skip, not that card. Take that whole card off. It's detrimental to the globe. The federal government is
Detrimental to us.
detrimental to the globe. Okay, us, we are a part of that as well. The federal government is. Oh, you said two of these ones, right? The most dangerous.
Yeah, I said willing to use military force and the most dangerous.
The most dangerous. Yeah. Because they're willing to use the military force. And then guilty of meddling in foreign policy. The federal government.
They don't get no more consistent than that.
Right. That's the other thing.
Because they monitor communication. Because look, they monitor communications to do so. To meddle.
Right. Yeah. All right. So you would pass that on 100. Okay, this dude would be qualified to debate. I think if more of these folks actually went through that little 15-minute hot round test, what are you for? What are you against? We would see if they're consistent, if they're more nationalist, if they're apologetic, things like that. And I remember when I first started coming on to YouTube, I had said I want to do like a bit of a pro-black scan, a little bit of a survey, just to see where some of the folks are at, especially because, the Rumble used to be cross-sectional. It had people from different lines of thinking and shit. And so I want to see what these SVDL dudes is doing, man. Whenever they pass me the motherfucking link to where I can have me a little show, I'm going hot and seeing what these dudes actually made of, man, because I don't think they consistent like they need to be. I think there's a couple of them who ain't gonna get it. Appreciate you for the interview. We about 42 minutes in, man, so we could keep moving forward. Agencies within the United States Department of Agriculture are a part of the executive branch of the federal government. The executive branch being headed by Joe Biden, who is the president. So I believe that makes him over
what's up with these series you starting and shit and not coming through though, bro? Like niggas been waiting on the domino table to come out for weeks, my G. What's up?
You missed the last domino table, my guy. I can fire one up though, for real though. Shit, I've been
about
chilling.
My guy, nigga. You ain't fired up no motherfucking domino table that I ain't seen, nigga. You blocked me from the stream so I couldn't see it.
Nah. Hey, I don't even get my own notifications. So.
Yeah, man, I ain't like, bro. Like, I don't remember that shit, bro. I ain't seen no another one. I'm like, man, when Brother Mo's gonna do the domino shit again?
Y'all was live though,
niggas
so I just
have a good day and skip off to the goddamn sunset. Niggas have one good day and skip off to the sunset. Boy, I tell you, these niggas something else.
I got two other ones. The Ghislaine Maxwell case went and resolved itself, so I still got to finish that one. Well, it's not resolved yet. It hasn't gone to sentencing. Yeah.
She got hit on 5 or 6, so it should be lucky to get out.
Mm-hmm. So my next part is Chicago. Then. You know about the Chicago political apparatus?
Not as much as I used to. Not the current Lori Lightfoot regime. I know a lot more about the past regimes than the current.
Right. Okay. It's that one, and then I would
Honestly,
also
bro, I ain't
include
gonna lie
the
to you, man. I done took a
Georgia.
like, I took a whole step
Go
back
ahead.
away from politics, man. I'm just not as interested as I used to be, man, because I feel like people did the whole jump behind Trump, and you know what I'm saying, was so deep into that national election. I just felt like that was kind of it. That was kind of the proof that people don't get the process. You know what I'm saying? And so where I'm at with that is so far ahead of what a lot of people talking about. It's just not interesting for me. I'd rather do history on politics than try to keep up with like Lori Lightfoot and other actual people that's in office right now. Because it just seems like people don't care too much about the local politics, even when they live there.
Right. I hear a lot of people use that as a thing. Oh, we just need to be focused on local. Motherfucker, they don't be involved in none of that shit, first of all. They just benefactors of what happens and shit. And then local, I don't know about the local argument as well, because niggas is really national already. And if they don't have national interest, then they do need to link up stronger with the B1 network, because we're not all in the same place. We're not all, like they say you could be influential in whatever you are locally, but shit. And I don't know, nigga. I just think we bigger than that. At some point, we got to start calling a spade a spade. We're more federal than we are just state rights, I would say. I was looking into the Justice for Black Farmers Act and some of the details of it. The number one detail is that it was referred to this department, the USDA Agricultural um, Marketing Service Grants Division, is where we would have to focus our energy in 2022 if we want to hold our Congressional Black Caucus, our Georgia political apparatus, and so forth accountable. This is the actual division of the said department and agency. And they did a study back in, I believe they used 2014 grants and had grant recipients reported establishing food chain linkages and relationships with schools, food banks, restaurants, city regional planning groups, and philanthropies. 81% of those grant recipients incubated new businesses, and 80% sustained business or project activities after grant completion. And grants are important because, that's I guess, what they would call free money, but it's purposeful money. Having most conversations we can refer to Obama's My Brother's Keeper Alliance. I went to that website to see how they were involved. And what I found there was a couple of initiatives they have running. The MBK Alliance launches its equity framework. That's something for 2022 to see what's what. But on the right, the impact and seed communities. That one caught my attention because of its relation to agriculture, seeds and such. Um, let's see. For me, it's important to establish a connection between the Justice for Black Farmers Act and the My Brother's Keeper Alliance, because we do need a process of identifying eligible applicants, those young Black men who work to get their diplomas, work to graduate on time. They may go to junior college, they may start families, they may start working, and some of them may want to go into entrepreneurship, thus having access to land and the grants to get started in their early life, their early careers is going to be important for our Congressional Black Caucus to focus on, particularly, once again, Georgia and the others. They said impact and seed communities are building cross-sector coalitions already. So there's something we can look forward to, is that we're not starting from scratch, even though we're at the groundbreaking stage. There are already coalitions of Black communities coming together to provide for the general welfare, to feed um, their kids. The emphasis of the Justice for Black Farmers Act as we walk through this political process, we started with the executive orders in January of 2021 that laid out this blueprint for the Biden administration. The emphasis that I find are the precursor for more opportunities in land development, cultivation, energy, clean energy, renewable energy, and using climate change as a predictor of future value. So, what am I saying? We have the African American young men who are part of the My Brother's Keepers Alliance. They're mentors, the Black men who came together and said, we have a general sense of purpose and direction we want to go down. And they proposed that to be enacted by the Senate. They read it on the floor in February, and then they recommended it come to the United States Department of Agriculture. So the Secretary of Agriculture is Tom Vilsack. In 2022, he'll be conducting a census of agriculture, and that's what's really going to lay the framework for saying, yes, we need to approve the measures for African American young men and the My Brother's Keeper Alliance. That's the information that is contained, or the process of which that is contained within the Justice for Black Farmers Act. Oh, another good thing to say about Tom Vilsack is that he was actually under the Obama administration. And a lot of people like to reference the Pickford Acts, or the Black Farmers and the Inheritance, that group, Glickman v. Pickford, I believe it is, 1 and 2. They like to reference that Obama approved it, or that case went forward under the Obama administration. And if they know that, then they should also understand that that's Tom Vilsack as well. All right. Where we're at today, in many Black barbershops, you'll hear this conversation about adding land, or getting a piece of land, getting a farm, getting a ranch as an imperative for Black men. That's what I hear in the barbershops I go to. For some, the residential property, we're married, we want a place for our children, a residential property. And then for others, they're looking for that next layer. Man, am I going backwards or forwards? Oh, all right. And for others, it's still the look back, like I.C. Williams says. The African American that I've spoken of before when discussing the Justice for Black Farmers Act, the African American lawyer from Texas and professor, he's a MacArthur Foundation fellow as well. He deals in real estate property in Texas and so forth. The major component that he contributed to the Justice for Black Farmers Act is the Uniform Partition of Heirs Property Act, UPHPA, which currently has I believe it was 13, maybe 11 states, or federal government. The federal government is, I don't know. I have this fact sheet. I could probably look at the fact sheet to get it more. But long story short, he is the guy who wrote the bill, and that same bill that is being enacted in 11 states already is a part of the Justice for Black Farmers Act to be federalized. So those heirs whose grandfathers and great-grandfathers lost property, this is the message that we continue to say is relevant for us. That's still our land. They may have lost it, but that doesn't mean that it's not ours. All right. But what it's going to take for us probably is going to be this attitude. I hear it a lot in conservative spaces that Black men are not applying ourselves. So I would counter that by saying lose the "it doesn't apply to me" attitude. And I would say apply to me specifically because essentially that's what a grant is. It's an application. For some, it's a phone call where they answer the phone and say, "You've reached the service department." One of the things that used to discourage Black activity would be declines, the participation in the workforce, being denied. All of those seem to stack up against the nigga's consciousness. So it's like, why would I even put in the application? And then the excuse for I'm going to get declined, so I'm not even going to try, I'm not going to put in the application. It grew to be more of what folks will call a pathology, to where in order to justify not applying myself, I'll just tell myself it doesn't apply to me. But I'll tell you it does, and it can. These states have already adopted the UPHPA. Call them GFACs, if you will. Georgia, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas. GFACs. Because when we're talking about Black land, that is a G fact right there. It's discussed in the barbershops, but it's always been a vision. I want my own farm. What would you do? If I got a lake on it, I'm a fish. Black land ownership in ag business. Congressman David Scott, Georgia 13, is empowered with legislative oversight. There's, oh, excuse me. Salute. There's some key sectors and land development that African American men are focused on as priorities. The conservation and forestry is a big one in the GFACs. The general farm commodities, there's a struggle going on legally back and forth, the pricing and such. Nutrition oversight and department operations is always going to be a big one between Black folks, Black conservatives versus Black liberals, Black conservatives saying, SNAP and all of those benefits, and they often come out as if they're against it. Biotechnology, horticulture, and research is the most profitable. And then eventually, this top one here, the commodity exchanges, energy, and credit. So let's start with that one first. Since this would be the longer term goal, commodity exchanges, energy, and credit align with the executive order because energy and climate change and the solar panels or solar farms that I showed earlier in the presentation are what the African American young men in the My Brother's Keeper Alliance would be petitioning the rights for. That is the investment that they would be reaching out to Delegate Stacy Plaskett if they lived in the United States Virgin Islands. They are a big agricultural land space, and they would need to use the model of the GFACs. Appreciate you, Tiffany. Oh, excuse me. I'll make it bigger. Icy got the hitters today. So when we look and see that inside of the Commodities Exchanges, Energy, and Credit Subcommittee of the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA. Hey, this is one topic, Miss Cree. This is one topic. This is one topic. Um, where was I at? Okay, I was in the acknowledging of the black players and the political legislative process for Justice for Black Farmers Act. So, yeah, in our politics, um, Delegate Stacy Plaskett was one of the strongest voices I heard. I believe it was January 6th, 2021. And during the trial, or the impeachment trial, the second impeachment trial of President Trump, strong woman, she tall, dominated, crushed that audience, crushed it. I'm not familiar with Representative Antonio Delgado. Um, I'm not sure about the New York black bourgeoisie anymore. I don't even know. So, but Taz was saying earlier about the current um, Chicago political apparatus. I would still say Bobby Rush is influential there, and whatever their land development opportunities would be, he would be the key representative there. All right, but those are long-term goals. So let's scale it back to where the bigger argument is, whether or not food stamps, EBT, SNAP, whether or not that is a detriment to our community. Whether us having families that are dependent on food stamps and the money that's allocated from the Treasury and discretionary spending should be to the black families, since that's who the black Republicans or conservatives. That's the department they like to target, or the funding they like to target. They say, "Oh, the black woman's on welfare, the welfare mom, the food stamp. Well, she's poor. She's a single black mother on food stamps." These are the arguments that we are fighting, and let's lay it out now. Somebody got to tell them who exactly they're speaking with or speaking on the services in this debate. So Nutrition Oversight and Department Operations, we see is chaired by Representative Johanna Hayes out of Connecticut. Ohio, Representative Chantel Brown. North Carolina, Representative Alma Adams. Now, this is one who I could probably, like, when they say six spheres, I forget what it is. How close somebody is, put it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, how close somebody, or how close you are to being able to have, let's say, dinner with somebody else. Like, I'm one person away, that's somebody's uncle, what that's called. But I'll continue, because as we're talking about the GFACs, Florida, Representative Al Lawson. The next would be the General Farm Commodities and Risk Management. Because we're going back and forth here. As you can see, it's a lot more diverse. One of our stronger hitters, I would say, is Georgia comes into the picture when we start talking about general farm commodities and managing risk. 6 degrees of separation. I appreciate you. See, I don't do this alone. I know what I'm talking about and I know who I'm talking about, but sometimes I may not always have the right words to say it. So GFACs. Right now we're looking at Representative Sanford Bishop and Representative Al Lawson, Georgia and Florida. But when we move into biotechnology, which is the most profitable, horticulture and research, we bring back in Delegate Stacy Plaskett. We include the Virgin Islands, New York, Ohio. I remember I was in Chicago, so now I'm just going to rant for a little second. If y'all don't mind, I'm just going to rant for a little second. And this rant starts off, I was working fresh out of college and such. And so in business or relationship management, rather, there is, excuse me, I guess it's as stratified as most people like look at the, just everyday life, but its stratification comes with a broader, I guess, view lens, not just responsibility. Say it one more time, and I'm gonna slow down. I got time today. Happy New Year. So let's say when we're looking at the window from the first story versus looking out the window from the 54th story, how much land and opportunity do you see? And for me, how much of that is under Black leadership, ownership? And wealth. Rant over. When I'm looking at the Black political apparatus today that has brought together these folks into the same building, this is typically what the images I see. While they may not be sitting in this room together during the coronavirus, I do see Black people coming together politically, having one agenda, being on one accord, unifying, however it is that people might want to describe those words. And they represent large swaths of land. Their leadership is over large swaths of land, a whole lot of lives. The decisions that they make and the conversations that they have affect a whole lot of folks. Congresswoman Stacy Plaskett, as chairman of the subcommittee on biotechnology, horticulture, and research, I'm committed to ensuring that this committee will work with researchers and farmers as we look to the ongoing impacts of climate change. To describe her, she is a New Deal Democrat, liberal progressive when it comes to doing for the Black community. She serves as the chair of the subcommittee on biotechnology, horticulture, and research. And like I said, she cold. Because when I look into this picture, I don't see the Black men who should be the recipients of any of these grants in this room. I see the Asians who will be creating those apps that allow the satellite coverage to tell you how much water you received on the right side of your 106-acre farm or operation. I see the Mark Zuckerberg looking corny Stanford, Princeton, Yale in the room. White boys. And I see her towering above all of them. As she looked to Jamaica, or the Virgin Islands rather, to do her research, into the Black farmer's experience. During her presentation, this was one of the slides. So 2021 virtual farm tour. Renewable energy systems and energy efficiency. Improvement guaranteed loans and grants. What does this program do? It provides funding to agricultural producers and small businesses for renewable energy systems or to make energy efficiency improvements. Energy efficiency improvements, such as, in this case, since we're saying it deals with climate change, there's either those big solar wind turbines, which I don't think are the same direction as Tesla per se. I would say the solar energy panels is a better aligned investment for Black farmers. All right, then the second bullet, agriculture producers may also apply for new energy efficient equipment and new system loans for agricultural production and processing. Now, these production and processing stages, this is where I start to get very macro. I start to drill down into the details when it comes to the production and processing. We already know about the energy efficient equipment being the solar panels, so a solar farm. I would want to have a conversation with someone who's actually up in banking before I can quantify it. And so for that, it would be this guy here. He wrote the book, How the Poor Can Save Capitalism. He spoke on relevant topics such as, like, when you see the Commonwealth Club, we can't talk about establishing a separate space where Black farmers, okay, so you're talking 160 acres. That's huge. That is a lot of land mass. And then the Justice for Black Farmers Act is 20,000 applicants every year. So you would have to multiply the 20,000 applicants by 160 acres to get the maximum land grant, a land allotment due to the bill or with the passing of the bill. And so because you're talking about that much area mass, you would then be talking about establishing essentially a commonwealth, or you would need the functions of a commonwealth established into that size of a bill. Let me run that back. In order to do for African Americans what African Americans need to be done politically, it requires land, and a hell of a lot of land. And in order to manage that much land, we would have to go back to a commonwealth form of understanding. And so I would go to the person who has the conversations at the Commonwealth Club. I would listen for about an hour, see what they have to say. Somebody who's defended it, his position, who knows the difference between both capitalism and socialism. Somebody who can break it down to a regular nigga in the hood. John Hope Bryant, CEO of the Hope Global Forums. And this is also a part of the Georgia political apparatus. These are G facts. So let's keep going. Opposing arguments. They would say land privatization is bad for the economy. It's unconstitutional. If the Justice for Black Farmers Act deals specifically with Black folks, they would say it's not covered under the Infrastructure infrastructure omnibus bill. They say it will increase national debt. They say it's Democratic pork barrel overspending. They'll criticize it and say this is liberal agenda politics. All these black folks I showed you on this screen, when they try to say black people aren't leading, they say it's creating another government program. If I was, I would throw a jab and say it's like going to the DMV again. Nobody wants to go to the DMV. Fuck. I have not had a positive experience at the DMV. No, I can't lie. If you go to a DMV in Georgia, it'd be niggas in there. This makes city Negroes the face of the rural family when we are not the sharecroppers or tenant farmers from South Carolina to Texas. We aspire to be owners as American descendants of slavery. Those will be my last two statements there, and I'll keep it going without any hesitation. Africa is too general, be specific would be my next deviation. Give me one moment. One little quick moment right there. Make sure I am unequivocal about what my position actually is here. Black people in Sacramento County were 4.1 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than white people in 2018. It says nationwide, black people were 3.6 times more likely than white people to be arrested for marijuana possession, despite similar usage rates, according to the 2020 American Civil Liberty Union report. At the same time, the U.S. cannabis industry was and still is exploding, with only 10% of cannabis business owners identifying as Latino or African American. So not only are people of color more likely to get in trouble for having weed, those criminal convictions could mean they are being shut out of a $61 billion industry. While overall marijuana arrests have decreased at a national level since 2010, cannabis arrests make up 43% of all drug arrests, which is more than any other drug, and the majority of the arrests are for possession, according to American Civil Liberties Union. According to the report, police often target people based on their perceived race rather than reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. As a result, people of color, and particularly young people of color, often face implications of minor offenses like marijuana possession. And while California is among the states with the lowest racial disparities, partly because it's a decriminalized state, Sacramento ranks one of the highest counties for racial disparities in marijuana arrests. And this is all while California accounts for almost a third of all U.S. retail cannabis sales, with minority owners having a significant impact on the overall percentage within the industry, according to MJ Biz Daily, Marijuana Biz Daily, a cannabis business information network. So, with Christmas, I'm usually seeing a 15% to 20% week over week growth, and the festive holiday generating $427 million in cannabis sales last year, according to the Green Market Report. There's money to be made. With that being said, here are 5 Black-owned California-based cannabis businesses to help start your holiday gift search. Thank you for shopping local journalism. Oakland Extracts. Oakland Extracts offers edibles, baggers, and sugar and diamonds. Viola Brands, established in 2011 by NBA veteran Al Harrington, Viola Brands is experienced in growing premium flowers, extracts, and strains. SF Roots. SF Roots is a cannabis brand born in San Francisco dedicated to preserving the quality standards and culture of the industry. The Black-owned business offers whole flowers, pre-rolls, concentrates, and tinctures. Black Family Farms. Ball Family Farms flowers are handcrafted from raw and organic nutrients produced in-house. Put color back into cannabis. With a mission to bring awareness to the BOPOC community within the cannabis industry. Put color back into cannabis. Offers marijuana-inspired merchandise, including pins, t-shirts, and tote bags. That was an article from the Sacramento Bee. Just in case people do not know where I'm actually standing when it comes to Black land ownership and the United States Justice for Black Farmers Act. I can present all the G-facts, including who are the exact African-American politicians who are in the position, the key position, to determine whether or not we get our due justice. So, Africa is too general. So we asked the Pan-Africanists to be more specific. And I'm petty. Where the hell does a Pan-Africanist want to go? I need them to start becoming specific. Pan-Ghanaian. Pan-Nigerian. I need them to be as specific as they can. So when they pick where they're going and they get the fuck out, my little 20,000 applicants starts to feel like we doing a hell of a lot more. Let's make that make sense. Oh, if you don't know what's in green, like I was using the words Negro and yeah, these niggas, that's Niger right there. And that's a place where they can be pro-Niger if they want to, pro-Knacker. For me, these are the ways the conversation must flow as we move forward with the Justice for Black Farmers Act conversations and with that bill. I got 10 things here that kind of mess us up. These are called 10 thinking errors, sabotaging. It says the brain or the black brain or the Oreo brain. Number one is the mental filtering. See it in the top left corner? I'll do it like this for us. Hold on, give me 1 second as I get back into the presentation mode. And where is my presentation mode? Oh, because I got on 2 different presentations. Does this go? I need it from this one. Give me 1 second. Well, not 1 second. I'll be lying. I need more than 1 second to figure out which screen is the right screen because I got so many screens up. So let's do this. Kev Brown, salute. Thanks for coming through and sliding with your boy. It's been almost 1 hour and a half. I've been Rocky Icy Williams. Man, you're doing a lot today. You're doing a lot. Hemp is a good farm business, even grants. I gotta rock with you. Because you on fire. You are on fire. So let me do this. File open. Let me see. Which one do I want to hit them with? Yeah. Let's do this one. Establishing black colonies in Sierra Leone, the Nova Scotia settler story. They were then backed up by the Jamaicans. Because Africa's too big, and we're still talking about land and land grant. These lands are now specific for you. You own these lands. I take shots at Pan-Africanists all the time because in the late 1700s and early 1800s, there were these ventures of taking what would be black folks, mulattoes at the time, and then some who are free black folks, black families, and small numbers, and giving them a large swath of land, where other people were, of course, some lessly populated spaces, but giving them a large swath of land, and then them being responsible for running it as a commonwealth, or surviving without a federal government or a national government or even a state government that gives you oversight. It was them to establish whatever it would be that they wanted to establish. Okay. And so, with that being in the 1800s and late 1700s, I always like to highlight the resistance first and then move into the information. So we said Niger or Nigeria, any of those spaces. We're talking Black folks now, so stay focused, stay locked in. We're talking about the American descendants of slavery, stay locked in. We're talking about my brother's keepers, stay locked in, and then being the recipients of these 20,000 land grants, which is the United States Department, which is the United States Justice for Black Farmers Act, right? And we have two strong political apparatuses. We have the Chicago from old, and we do have a Chicago apparatus today, where they're just not as in the limelight. But then we also have the Georgia, and with Georgia comes the entire GFACS. All right. And so now we're going to go back in history and talk about these same people in order to continue to validate our claims. Slave ship mutinies. Where was this? I remember I had the source listed. So, okay, we'll get to the source at some other point. If I need it again, I can bring it out. But, all right. I'm going to keep rocking because I got time today. Let my eyes process on the screen. When I start from the left, and I'm just going to hyperspeed read it. History and memory, the making of an Atlantic world, transatlantic slave trade, economics and slave trade. I get stuck right there sometimes, but I'll keep moving forward. Capture and captives, slave trade routes. That one is a key topic that a lot of people miss the nuances of. All the different ports and how it's significant that African Americans are still concentrated heavily around ports and the major cities that benefit from those ports, especially in the GFACS. West Africa. So the story here that I'm going to be presenting is talking about the Sierra Leone. Like I said, Niger, it moves towards West Africa, or being on West Africa time. Central Africa, castles, factories, and forts. I'm not strong on that one. I'd have to pass on castles, factories, and forts. I only know about two. I know about the one that Spain built in like Florida or whatnot. And then I know of like little small, like I guess fortified positions, but they were by no means an actual fort. They just called it that. All right, the Atlantic Ocean, Middle Passage. I think that's the one that most of our children's curriculum deals with. Is typically just the Middle Passage. It skips a lot of this and goes straight to Middle Passage. Mutinies is definitely not something being discussed, which is why I highlighted on the screen. I'm not going to read it. The Caribbean is big, especially when we talk about Delegate Stacy Plaskett. Salvador and Brazil. Louisiana is big. That's another one that I harp on, and you'll also hear like legendary Top Cats harp on. So Louisiana, the War of 1812, and that general period, the Louisiana Purchase period, that's huge. You'll hear a lot more people referring to that today. Africans in the Americas, slavery in the Age of Revolutions, and then, of course, emancipation movement. So yeah, a lot of this history is lost. For the most part, I would have to off topic many of these. Like if I wanted to learn about the Caribbean and the Caribbean transmigration, I would call somebody like Brother George Macon, somebody who's strong in like Cuba. There's a lot of knowledge that is there, but that isn't really being brought out with like imagery, and people aren't pulling the newspaper clips, and they're not going all the way back and finding the, the old relics. Like I'm not going to the museums themselves, but yeah, it would be nice. But right now I'm using the internet as the tool to bring out that information that most talks to our story. But I wouldn't be the strongest talking about factories. I just wouldn't. But we would need somebody who has that level of intelligence, like I think Out to Blue, on the SVDL, is somebody who would love to talk Liberia, and he doesn't have anybody to really talk to about it with. So for him, he's not per se a Pan-African. He really stresses and emphasizes Liberia. I applaud that, because that brings me at least into a time frame. Well, if you're talking Liberia, are you talking about the 1800 Liberia? Or are you talking about the 1900 Liberia? Marcus Garvey. If he's referring to the 1800 or late 1700s Liberia, then we can have the conversation, because rather than me having to repeat the same thing he's saying about Liberia, I can talk about Freetown, Sierra Leone, which we see is right up the coast. And so I'd let him have the screen. He's talking, you see the screen on there? St. Augustine in Florida, man. My life, I don't know what they be talking about. They be trying to diss on the B1 Network chat all the time. But I ain't even have to say it, and you already knew it. For me, what becomes important is that we don't lose these messages. And so I will go into and put on the screen while we're having the conversation a representation of an insurrection on board a slave ship. And while I'm not in the museum, this is the original work. It's how it was advertised. It's their media. Representation of an insurrection on board a slave ship. I need this screen to come up because I actually do have the notes that I had saved to it, I believe. Let's see, where are we? Did I go back? All right. Yep. So this is where my notes start. It's a cultural artifact. Representation. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Representation of an insurrection on board a slave ship. Carl Bernhard Wadstrom. An essay on colonization, particularly applied to the western coast of Africa, with some free thoughts on cultivation and commerce, also with descriptions of the colonies already formed or attempted in Africa, including those of Sierra Leone and Bulama, London, 1794. It's not changing. This might have changed on its own. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do was zoom in and focus a bit more on the boat itself. That is small quarters to be fighting at. But I'm from Del Paso Heights, California, and this is what our clubs typically look like. They were packed. They were about the size of a boat. And in fact, one of them was on the river. Now, inside the club, it didn't come down to this unless you were looking specifically at certain sectors or sections of that image of the boat. You would have to zoom in to where the niggas actually were. I highlight this type of image because we're fighting back doesn't always have to look like this with the guns drawn. if you wouldn't know any better, it looks like people just got their hands up. So likewise, here's something else about B1 Brother Moses. I'm an asshole. People will learn that one day. Oh, let me see. What did I say? Oh, okay. I got you. So, excuse me. Another perspective of the same rebellion type story is captured in that same time frame. I'm going to show you next. All right, so it should be on the screen. The departure. This is what happened in Nova Scotia. Oh, I took my photos off, man. Come on, kid. Oh, no, I didn't. I got you. Excuse me, y'all. My bad. Just had a little bit of a brain glitch working on these slides and shit. It's been a while, but I got you. Hold on, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Damn, I'm glad I turned my camera on so you could see there was some volume. I said, I apologize for that. My pops, soul man, born in the '50s, he turned his music on, and I didn't want it to get the channel. Well, they'll flag it, but they would have had to take out an entire section for it to not be taken down. So, in any event, let me keep moving forward. Where are we going? We go back in history to tell them that the argument is from the black folks. Excuse me. I don't like to deal with the white folks' arguments. I like to deal with the black. And the black folks would say, Moses, you're talking about a bill that says 20,000 grants. There are 40 million African Americans. You're not talking about equity. You're not talking about true justice. This isn't reparations. And I would say you're right. It doesn't say reparations anywhere on it. It says black farmers, and that's all I needed to see. And from there, it's the number. So they would say, well, 20,000 is insignificant. We need something that does more for everybody, not just a small group of people. I would say, absolutely. I do not disagree with you, but this is the bill that's on the table. And so this is the one that I would be defending or using my media platform to push forward. I would stand on a position that says this is a must do. Whether they do it or not, they still need niggas like me to say do it. And it might just be a phone call or it might be something different. But what you'll notice is that we don't get too much conversation about it. Tell you one thing, this year from the SVDL, even though he quit this season, Anonymous from the Solar Vision Debate League is going to have to come up and have the conversation with me about this Justice for Black Farmers Act. All right, so now that we can see me again, my pops is out, so the music is no longer going to be there. I'm going to get back into the conversation. We were at around the 1800s looking at the information for Black folks and our land grant. What will it take for Black folks to survive? Well, once again, we had the Commonwealth have to be established. That means you're talking about people who would not have the federal government or the state government or a local government they're being asked to create it themselves, or not being asked, they're determining or self-determining that they're going to create this space themselves. We see that happening down there in Georgia already with that one group. There's other groups like that, and there's just a whole lot of people who just live in predominantly Black spaces like that if you go by square mileage. But in our case, in order to fulfill this bill, 160 acres per eligible applicant, 20,000 applications, that's a lot of land. And so how would it be managed? In order to understand how it would be managed, we have to go back in history and see, well, how is it managed once again? So here's some numbers for them. Around the late 1800s, we would be looking at the number of slaves being imported for every 25-year period. So when I look at this, what it tells me is people say, oh, you're stuck on a plantation, but start from the right and move back left with me. You see? Okay, I think you can see it. I kind of see it, but could it be bigger? It could be a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. What I see when I look at this is, oh, this is around the era of Dred Scott, which meant this 1826 to 1850, when they were still, looks like was the word importing from Africa. Looks like 1.8 million in the 25-year period. 1.8 million divided by the 25. I don't want to go all the way down into the years. That's too micro. But I also remember that during the 1826 to 1850, we're still talking about the Louisiana Purchase until you get like Missouri that becomes and all of that. And they start to have the who becomes a free state, what landmass becomes this or that. All right. But I also see that was another grandfather or another great grand. And so I go back another 25 years and I say, yep, around every 25 years, that sounds like a good graph to use, because it's like, and that was a great grandfather, and that was a great grandfather, and that was a great grandfather. And then we continue to go back further if we can. When I first started, it was hard for me even to get to the grandfather here, 1851 to 1866 quartile. Who was that Black man in my family? I mean, then I know they say, well, on your mom and your dad's side, you have one, and this one, and then you go up, and that person had one, and they had one, they had one, they had one, and the family tree just gets bigger and bigger. But yeah, I think it's important to ask yourself that question: can you get to this grandfather? Because this may have also been a different land. And this may have been a different land. And this may have been a different land. Now, I get it. For some, they've been there and have never left. But I would say for most, that's not the case anymore. Even those who still live in the South, what was it, like 53% of African Americans still live in the GFACs? If you start to include like Virginia, especially DC and that area, if you add that in, then you probably get like 53% of the African American population still lives in those states down south, or that their family still lives in those states down south. Let me bring it back up one more time. There was a statement made earlier. As African American descendants of slaves, this story or this comment is spot on once again. Wow, I don't know where it went. Who said it? Maybe if I remember it that way, I can find the comment. Here it is. I.C. Williams. My great-grandfather isn't on this list. My great-grandfather, let me see, grandfather. So my grandfather was born in what? My dad was 55. So my grandfather was like, what, 30 maybe? I think maybe 19 they said he was born. They're not sure. So my great-grandfather was late 1800s, if I remember Esau. And then it goes back to Joseph, I think. So yeah, I got to go like three great-grandfathers back just to get to this list. So to say that is a lot of land, or a lot of lands. I so wanted to go through their shipwreck. I'll speed through this one so I can scoot forward. So the black folks established in theirs, Liberia, Freetown. That would be a conversation for out the blue. Anybody who wanted to debate Marcus Garvey, information there. I so wanted to go through this one. They have an artifact too. So the black folks, we had ours of the slave insurrection that happened there, and then they have theirs where they started eating people all in the 1800s. Excuse me. All right. Let me get myself out of this rabbit hole, man. Y'all killing me. I was going to go through the whole history lesson of approximately 3,000 African American loyalists who went up to Nova Scotia. Those were the same people who were shipped over to, what I'm saying, the different queens, etc. They were under. Let's do this. Escape. Divestor 2020. My bad, y'all. Let me find it. I done went all off topic and went down on my own little rabbit hole of shit. And you know what? Fuck that. I like being in the rabbit hole for a second. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole. Fuck it. After this, I'm gonna move forward. Hopefully, we can see what's on the screen pretty well. All right. Let me check and see if it's moving. Is it moving? Happy New Year, brother. Oh, go ahead. There we go. Oh yeah, it's moving. It's moving. It's moving. I'm gonna stay in the rabbit hole just for a little bit longer. I'm gonna just let all these fucking boats just keep going. Keep going. Let the boats just keep going. My point was African is too broad. So I'm gonna just let the boats keep going. I'm gonna let them keep going. I'm gonna let you tell me when the fuck you think I came into the picture here as a fucking African. Let these boats keep going. Let me pause for a second right there. Stop right there. 1740. So y'all see all them goddamn boats came from Africa? Fuck they talking about, oh, you're African. Nigga, I'm black. Fuck you mean? We stick on Black history, you want to run the Africa ass motherfuckers, I hold by that shit. I'll debate the shit out you. But I'm black, nigga. Fuck that. Now let me do something else, which is why there is no reparations or go back to Africa, return to no, nigga. Justice for black farmers because I'm black. Fuck it. BIPOC. Black indigenous people of color. I'm black. I can see myself in that. But in this motherfucking shit coming from the motherfucking 1700s, I can't see myself in what boat? Nigga, I'm finding my grandfathers from the late 1800s. And I'm finding out that they were on different lands. So let me do it one more again. Let me do it one more again. We had a year for them. We had an actual year for them. We had an actual year for them. It said from 1501 to 1525, the number of slaves imported from Africa. Graph depicting the number of slaves imported from Africa from 1501 to 1866. I'm black because we know what the year 1866 signifies. That's where they start with Black history. That is the standard curriculum, and they may mention a couple of other things within there. And I'm black first because I'm the nigga who actually provides those stories that go back a little bit further, you know, every once in a while. I definitely wanted to tell him the story about the white people who started eating themselves. I promise you it's there. It's in The Departure. It's in this story right here. The Departure. Voyages to Transatlantic Slave Trade. It says The Departure, painted by Robert Schmirk, 1780, assessed researching Nova Scotia and the American Revolution. British lost, and they evacuated about 30,000 loyalists, including 3,000 black loyalists, to settle in Nova Scotia. The Freetown colony in Freetown is said to have been established in 1792 by black ex-slaves called the Nova Scotian settlers. The long title of this historical artifact is, and that was that long one, The Departure. Right, next slide. As we zoom in, this says they had subsisted many days on the bodies of their dead companions. As we see in the top left, that mast is broken and in the water. They made it to land, but they ain't know what to do. Engraved by Rob Pollard. London publication, March 8th, 1784, by Rob Pollard, number 15, Brains Row, SPA Phil R. Wilkinson. Says their shipwrecked companions in the depth of winter 1781. The survivors continued in this place several weeks. Savages afterwards went to assist those who had been left at the wreckage, of whom 5 only were found alive, who, with 18 seamen and passengers, so it was more than 18 people who had left. They were discovered by some of the native Indians. And that's always been interesting. They called the native Indian savages, but they were the ones who ate people, who ate themselves. All right. Because I'm petty, I just had to put that out there. Because I'm petty. So we talk about black folks and our resurrection, and did we revolt? Did we try to fight back on the boat? Oh yeah, I'll show you the picture. They was fighting back. Fighting back doesn't always look like throwing people overboard and shit. and it looked like black folks having to jump overboard or being thrown overboard, or people rushing and trying to climb the net at the people who are shooting guns and shit from the top. And it may not always look like that when we're fighting back, but I will show you an image of us, an artifact from the 1800s of us fighting back at the same time period when the black folks were sent over to Freetown and Liberia, or Sierra Leone and Liberia. And let me show you how we make it relevant. Let me see, is that in there? Oh, I got one for you. Oh yeah. Give me. I like being in a rabbit hole. Excuse me. Let's go back to the map. I got you. I like being in a rabbit hole. Let's do it like this. Here you go. Stop it. Go back. I gotta delete that one. They struck me for it last time, or they copyrighted for me, even though I paid for it. All right. A team of land developers. That's what it sounded like they wanted initially. A team of land developers with international passports looking to hit their production goals as a black army. That's Marcus Garvey. Name that building and I'll start you off. It's a 1922 South Philly building named affectionately blank. It was owned by Marcus Garvey, and I'll show you this Wesley Acuna photograph. It's art. To me, it's black media. And to me, it's a primary source. If somebody wants to debate Marcus Garvey or anything like that, that it was a legitimate business, that there were legitimate businesses operating, that they were doing something in this building. Now, somebody would be able to tell me, unless, of course, Wesley Acuna got it wrong, somebody would be able to tell me what the business is, what the name of it is, because they're the Pan-Africanist. They're the Garveyite. Right? Would that be doing too much if I did that during one of my debate slides? One of my debates with the SVDL? Or would I just have to show them if they don't know what Liberty Hall actually is, or they've never even taken a true vested interest in defending their doctrine? Because there go their big church right there. Except it wasn't a church, I guess you could say. They was all church-ish type people. But this would have been one of those churches where Jesus had to walk in and overthrow the altar and all the people doing business inside of it. Because it was shady business happening. If you ask me. In Philly, they was doing some shady shit in Philly. Only shady from the perspective of, do you want to be in the alcohol business? But it gets worse because for me, that's around the era that I would be able to speak towards. I can tell you who my grandfathers were in the 1900s under the Marcus Garvey. I can talk about their life experience a hell of a lot easier than I can talk about the Pan-Africanist movement from Liberia in the late 1800s. Outside of the rebellion and the black people fighting back against the indigenous people there, the biblical influence even then for them to go missionize as a part of the American colonization society, right? Oh, yeah, that's a body bag right there. Or we could do it like this and look at the slave voyages. What would be essentially trying to find are the actual boats of either our ancestors or the ones that prove a point. So here we go. We're looking for 3 boats that are clustered together, that are traveling in a cluster or a family somewhere across the Atlantic Ocean. And we want to find out what those boats are and who was the cargo on those boats. In 1590. It's how we got to find our ancestors if we want to debate these folks, right? I had the screen running. We want here's how I know I be whooping their ass too. Give some examples. T.I., Georgia political machine. Um, he talks about London in one of his posts as being a part of the slave trade, that they would owe reparations or something like that. The other dude, Grandmaster J, talks about slavery from Portugal as a justification. We see Portugal would just be the green boats here. Great Britain would be those reddish boats. France would be blue boats. Spain would be the yellow boats. Netherlands, the orange boats. The United States of America, as their involvement in the slave trade, would be the light blue boats. When I say I'm black, I refer to the boats from the blue dots. We gonna break this shit all the way down for their ass today, boss. And the reason why we would focus specifically on the United States of America boats and docks is because I'm black. Let me keep going. My life is under the United States of America, so it's after 1776. That at least gives 1800s. Their argument has to find the freaking boat. The other way that they look at it is from the mitochondrial DNA perspective. I ain't gonna go into it because this is a rabbit hole that I love to get caught up in too. Do you believe in the out of Africa theory? Do you think that this map means anything, whether it's genetically, whether it was how hominids and shit moved? We would go in. But for me, I won't do it. We'll focus on a couple of boats. You know, the colors we see here, mostly being represented. We see some green ones. We see some in the year 1590, excuse me. In the year 1590, we see predominantly gray boats traversing the Atlantic Ocean. I stopped at the United States boats being light blue, but as we see, there were a couple of other colors that were already active in 1590. One of them being yellow, Spain. We see green, Portugal, but we also see gray, other. So at this time, in 1590, boats that were leaving from Africa were not under the jurisdiction of Portugal, Britain, France, Spain, the Netherlands. We know the United States wasn't in it yet, nor Denmark or any of their businesses. Yet these boats were still coming from Africa. You try that shit one more again. These Pan-Africanists who want to go back. But these Pan-Africanists who want to go back, maybe they just joined the stream right now. The argument that they want to prove is that they are African. I say that's way too broad. Nigga, I'm black. And I say that because when I look into the 1900s, I can find my great-grandfathers. I know exactly where their bones are buried. It is more difficult the further back I go into the 1800s because we know my grandfather is a product of his father and his mother. His father and his mother have a grandfather. And they have a grandfather. So all of these grandfathers, the broader Moses family, I say, oh, that's America. All of that's America. And including anything before that is not holding America accountable before I could ever look at Portugal, Great Britain, France, Spain, Netherlands, Denmark, or any other jurisdiction. I'm black. But let's keep going because the Pan-Africanists, as we see, let me put this other more active one up. Let's put this one up. This is what they need to see, ain't it? Where you at? Where is she? Where you at? I'm like, wait. Get out of there. Get out of there. Is this the one? Oh, okay. Yep, there we go. There we go. We'll get out of 1590. Oh, just for... Yeah, I'm gonna move forward. I almost went too personal. So let's do it. The Rio Pongo is where the African American civilization, or the black civilization, or the one from the late 17, early 1800s. This is where they were also establishing a black to Africa. Is in Rio Pongo. So we know we have Sierra Leone. You know, we could come down even further. My argument would be saying Africa is too big because where? Who are you? Who of which jurisdiction, tribe, or people do you most feel you belong in Africa? Don't just tell me their language. From what land have you established your people come from? And if you tell me that, tell me when. Put a date on it. When was anyone in your bloodline? Where? Answer me those questions. When? Find your African would be my challenge to them. Find, if you're a Pan-Africanist, find your African. Find your African would be my Pan-Africanist challenge. And then I turn the map back on. And then I'd ask, that was just a few years right there. I only let a few years pass. But are you sure it wasn't any other nigga on any of these other boats? And I'm going to ask you, how the hell did you determine that your nigga was the nigga on blue boat, dark blue boat, versus your nigga, your African, was the nigga on red boat? First, the nigga on American boat. Ship name unknown. All you know is that this ship left Anamabu with 65 enslaved people and arrived in Barbados, port unspecified, with 56 people. So at some point, 9 souls were transferred. Died en route, jumped overboard. How do you know where your nigga is? Find your nigga and you tell me what boat your nigga was on. Oh, my people come out of what? St. Helena. Okay, that's cool too, because we could take the boat now. And if you could get this far and say, well, before my people were in Africa, they were in the Caribbean. Maybe you could get that far. The same questions would need to be answered for me. When and where? When and where? Show me your nigga. And then I turn this motherfucker back on. I say, hold on, man. Did you see that? Did you see where that boat just left from? we rewind that a little bit? Does that rewind? I'm glad you asked. Yes. It rewinds and everything. Let me zoom in. Where did that boat come from? I know I just saw one. The red one, there's a blue one, there's a blue one. There go one right here. Can't zoom in no further than that though. This one. San Domingo's bound for Portugal, or Portugal, Brazil got a boat. This ship left Catu with 133 enslaved people and arrived in Maranello with 122. Read more. They don't got the voyage ID or any of that. They say voyage length 299 from home port to disembarkment. The year of arrival was 1763. The captain's name, Antonio Pereira. Cargo, 50% men. And the source of data goes through Portugal. Okay. Interesting enough. Let me back out a little bit. There we go. We know it's because of the current. Somebody said it's because of the current. We're gonna watch this current. We see a whole lot of Great Britain red. Still a strong presence of France. Bigger boats from France. There must have been them war boats coming. Napoleon. Boom. This will be an interesting time. I'm gonna have to come back to this section right here because some wars started popping off down here. Remember? Some wars started popping off down here in Jamaica. So we would want to see which boats was coming in, which captains actually came in according to history. (1776). Okay, so the war just popped off in America too, between America and Great Britain. So I wonder, are we going to start seeing boats come from the other direction then? They ain't bringing them from up there. They make it seem like they was under a full-scale invasion and shit. When y'all see that shit, I'm going to go back to 67. I know it might be hard to see, but I'll tell you what I'm looking at in a second. 70s. What we would be looking for is whether or not boats coming from Great Britain. They try to make it seem like they was under a full-scale invasion and shit between the North and the South. Hell no, they wasn't. But I'll tell you what else we saw, though. Hold on. Well, that was a double up right there. Go back a little bit more. back out for a second. I think we finna see some American boats, the ones that go actually up to Nova Scotia, come through. It was a big ass boat. So who we got? The Othello, United States, 83 enslaved on the Hawk. The Friendship, the ship left the Gulf Coast. 165, 140, they went to Charleston. Fanny. I saw a big ass red boat come up, looked like it was coming straight towards the capital, goddamn you. That mug was coming straight to the Chesapeake. A lot of people have this conversation when they look at it. They call it the the Royal African Company. They call it the Chesapeake Bay or the Hudson Company. Um, they have that conversation from this lens, and so competitively, um, in order to establish their claim, let's say they used the slave voyages, they would look at the boats specifically for, if they wanted to say, the Royal African Caribbean Company, and then they would find those boats. Give me one more second, because I swear I thought I just saw a big ass boat come all the way up from this area and make it to. It came from where the free blacks were, where the free blacks were, or the colonizing blacks, or whatever we want to call them, and it went right up to Nova Scotia. A 60-ton with 316, 150 tons. So yeah, this one's dwarfing that one. It down there got 500 on it. I got the 120, a 200-ton from deep. The ship's name is Africa. Ain't that about a bitch? And okay, coast. The Asante people. We have the conversation a lot again between the men and the women. And I think what this slide actually captures, since we're looking at the timestamp as well, is they're mad at the Dahomey tribe of women for kicking the niggas out of these ports. They said that the women of the Dahomey tribe were responsible. The women of the Dahomey tribe were the ones with the guns. You'll also hear Republicans say, well, black tribal leaders were selling slaves and so forth. And so you'll see a lot just from this part. The Gold Coast, I say, the Gold Coast of the slave vessels coming in. Let me rewind it, and we'll get a bit of a glimpse of how significant is that Dahomey selling slaves narrative. So first, let me grab one of these and see the Dahomey people. Dahomey sold slaves. In the 18th century, kings of Dahomey became big players in the slave trade, waging a bitter war on their neighbors, resulting in the capture of 10,000, including another important slave trader, the king of Whydah. King Tegbesu made 250,000 euro a year, or pound, I don't know what it's probably a pound, a year, selling people in slavery in 1750. All right, so that says 1750. We got to bring it back. So let's bring it back here to 1731, and then let's just see how many boats are flying off this coast. I wonder, can I go year by year? Because maybe that would allow the dots. All right, let's do it one time and fast forward from the Gold Coast. So we know what we're talking about. We're right here. Let's fast forward it. 30s. Damn, hold on, rewind. See, it'd be so much. Like right there, I just saw a super burst. I saw like a rapid increase in the number of boats shoot off at one particular time. Bang. There was a big skip right there. Boom. Okay, I just saw something else. It was like all three of these boats left at the very same time, together even. So it might be these three. Is it? Berkeley, where are you at? The Colston and the Hare. So all three of these. Capone and Ponga. Let's see, my dumb ass, I wouldn't even know what part of the world that is right now. I'd have to look and everything. So that wasn't on this side of the globe. It's under here. Let me see. 50 years selling people into slavery. We found out where the Dahomey are. And let's see. Let's put them on the board. You niggas sold my ancestors, cuz. These niggas that sold your ancestors, cuz. That's what you're supposed to do now if you're a Pan-Africanist. You're supposed to run all the way over here. You got to get you a $600 ticket, though. And you finna go hold these motherfuckers accountable because you a Pan-Africanist, nigga. You don't play that shit. Nigga, you finna go all the way over here. You finna get off your motherfucking plane, nigga. You finna get off at the airport. Let me see if there's an airport somewhere in this motherfucker. You finna go hold these motherfucking Dahomes accountable, nigga. That's what you finna do. You finna go get reparation from the Dahome. Nah, you don't want the Justice for Black Farmers Act, my nigga. You don't want that shit. You want Pan-Africanism. You want to go back to Africa. All right, so let's find the nigga here. That's what we gonna do. We gonna find the nigga. There we go. We found the airport. We finna land at the airport and shit. And we finna find us a motherfucker to hold accountable for fucking reparations and shit. We don't want it to be the American government. We don't want it to be the federal government. We don't want it to be the current people who are in power right now. We don't want our Congressional Black Caucus to fight for reparations. No. These motherfuckers argue that it's because people in Africa sold slaves too. So if that's the case, we need to go and get reparations from them. So we just landed the plane, and now we're gonna pick a random destination inside this motherfucker. We finna pick a random destination so we can hold their ass accountable. The Dahomey people, we finna that's their argument. Hold on, man. I gotta let y'all see my face. I am serious to the motherfucker, but I am crying on the inside. Where my motherfucking where my shit at? Where the street road at? It's how ridiculous it sounds to me when people tell me that they Pan-Africanists and so forth. But yeah. Oh, okay. Y'all see the screen and everything. We finna hold us a motherfucker accountable because we motherfucker Pan-African. Man, we out here where the Dahomey at. We out here with the Dahomey. And we finna hold the Dahomey accountable right now, man. We done found them on the map based on time. We done found out where they were on the landmass. We went to the globe. We said, oh yeah, man, they got cities and everything, man. We finna go get our shit back, B. Dude, we finna pop up on them right now. This is where we going right here too, to hold motherfuckers accountable. Look at this shit. This what you want to hold accountable and shit? What the fuck is this? I don't know what that is, so we finna catch a bus to it. What's on the picture? This is Lagos, Nigeria. We finna go hold these niggas accountable. Fuck that. Because I could do a whole presentation on American politics. I ain't get one motherfucking fire sign for dropping all of these motherfuckers right there. Not a single one. It was like I was just teaching a class and not one single fire sign for all of the black people who are in process right now trying to get black folks land. But these Pan-Africanists want to go hold these motherfuckers accountable. And these motherfuckers say, oh, it was the Dahomey tribe. So, all right, fuck it. All right, then, fuck it. We finna go find a motherfucker and go hold them accountable because that's their history. Fuck that. There's a picture. I'm wondering, is these the motherfuckers right here? Is what is this? Nigga, is this how they living? That's the question I'm asking myself. Oh shit. Oh shit. That's a pretty nice fucking picture. They got like a little hotel and shit right there. Shit. Sheesh. See, my first thought, and it still might be the case, my first thought is that these niggas might be living under these little garage doors. Like these might be actual homes or something that people live in up in here. And so I'm trying to save Blue from becoming somebody who's so adamant about being a Pan-Africanist that he pop up in Nigeria and end up living in one of these garage door home huts. Don't do it, Blue. Don't do it, Blue. All right. Another commercial. And then I'm going to be back. 21 Dreadful Marijuana Criminal Statistics 2021 update by Cannabis Offers Marijuana Criminal Statistics. Posted March 15th. One of the most prevalent types of substance abuse in the United States involves marijuana, even though it's illegal on a federal level. Most states in the United States allow regulated use of marijuana. So is our battle actually the state or is our battle actually the Fed? In this case, we'll live in a state that still gives us, time or does, they still regulate marijuana. They'll still give a nigga that possession. And we see like even in California, they be targeting niggas for that shit. And then we also have the opportunity areas, the business of marijuana. The entire Pookie and Ray Ray argument hinges on the Pookie and Ray Ray being discriminated against in perpetuity. Because while African Americans do have a significant consumer role in the marijuana business, what the Pookie and Ray Ray were established in California was the producer or the production and promotion business, and damn good at it. And they needed United States laws. They needed, in order to validate themselves, Black Republicans, conservatives, so forth, and educated lames, they needed law, United States law, to make a nigga that was heavily involved in the marijuana business in the 90s in California a criminal. They needed it. And that's what they used against us. And let's do a refresh. See where we're at in 2021. Disturbing marijuana usage stats, editor's choice. Their bullet notes. Yeah, I'll just stick with the bullet notes. About 66% of Americans favor the legalization of marijuana in the United States. Law enforcers are more likely to arrest Black Americans than white Americans. Marijuana arrests account for 43% of all drug arrests in the United States. The U.S. makes 600,000 marijuana arrests on average every year. Law enforcers arrest approximately 2 individuals per minute for drug possession. The U.S. spends $3.6 billion on marijuana arrests every year. A marijuana conviction can cost the felon, damn, felonies too? Fuck! From $2,000 to $20,000 in defense. So I'm definitely on the side that says it's not a felony. Decriminalization, legalization, in fact, the regulation remove discrimination within the business. Keep it short, keep it simple. Now let's get back to it, because we're talking about big land. Motherfuckers want to run to Africa. You got on one side of the argument a nigga that says, nah, nigga, we right here with it. Ain't nobody going to no motherfucking Africa. I mean, I live right here in America. Ain't no motherfucking way I'm even advocating for going to Africa. And if I hear a motherfucking Pan-Africanist advocating for African partnerships, I'm going to give them the side eye. Nigga, unless you're just saying, here's what I'm going to do, then I ain't got no problem with you. If you're saying, I'm pulling together a group of motherfuckers that go over there, I'm going to say, nigga, bye. Nigga, I don't give a fuck. Nigga, divest. I'm going to encourage them to the best of my ability. All right, that was 427. So at about 5:30, we'll be ready for Rosa Parks should have divested. It'll be in about an hour. So I think we ready for that comment right there. Boom. And with that, I need to do an actual real commercial too, so I can give my throat a little break. Let's do which one? Oh yeah, let's do a reminder here. Let's do this one. Oh, stop. Let's do it this way so it doesn't get that retarded echo. Let's go. I'm looking to share screen. I have 2 computers. It's the screen on my right. Damn. See, I be having to remind myself what I'm doing to get through all this technical shit. So I want to share my screen on the right with the volume on my right so it doesn't. Okay, here I go. I need to stop sharing first. Share screen. Oh, don't share the screen. Share the, what is it called? Damn, that's the window. Persona. The Windows player. All right, this should stop the echo. Let me move it over here. And I think the volume was up way too loud, but let's see. Let me know if this works out. I need to take a quick break, so I got a commercial. It's 2:30, 2.5 hours. Told you I could talk for hours. All right. And play. I don't think it's shared. I'm looking at this screen and it didn't share. Let me try that again. So, share screen. Oh, well, I'll share the screen the next time then. Let's do it this way then. I was looking at the screen to make sure it was going, but I don't think it was actually going.
If we don't, then why do you care about what I say? Why do you care about what I say?
I know everyone has their own opinions, but there's certain rhetoric that is just totally dangerous. A black man is going to hang you in the middle of Congo Square one day. Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous. Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous.
What are you talking about?
And what they do does nothing but destroy. Yo, bro, you're gonna pay for that shit, bro.
How?
I'm
gonna pay for it.
Great spirit in the
I'm gonna pay for it. The great spirit of the ancestors, the motherfuckers that was enslaved.
Y'all are some evil motherfuckers, bro.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter what I say or what any black woman says. If black men's actions contradict what we're saying, then what's the problem? If black men are not dangerous, if black men are not violent, if black men are not hateful, if black men are not making black women single mothers and putting white women on a pedestal, why do you care what I say about black men? It's a lie, right?
Yeah, it is lies.
So what's the problem?
It's a problem because your magic is affecting people who might not be your magic.
My magic?
Your magic. Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous. Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous. I know everyone has their own opinions. As educated or aware, you asked me a question, sis. Why don't you ask? Why can't
Mom, you care about what I say? Why do you care about what I say? If we can't eradicate you, why do you care? Why you up here whining and crying with your pussy bleeding all over the place if we can't do nothing? What's the point of you being here then?
A black man is gonna hang you in the middle of Congo Square one day. But let me finish my subject.
Care about what I say? Why do you care?
Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous. Cynthia G, Taz, and Nyla are very dangerous.
If we can't eradicate you, why do you care? Why you up here whining and crying with your pussy bleeding all over the place if we can't do nothing? What's the point of you being here then?
A black man is gonna hang you in the middle of Congo Square one day. But let me finish my subject.
Like you was born to do, though.
What shit is that, bro?
Wait, hold on.
All right. Hopefully I'm back. Yeah, okay, I can go big screen now. It's just me. All right. Dating market approach versus a way of life, frame of mind, or an open mind. So a bit later, I'll be adding the Nyla Says interview, Nyla's Vibes interview. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay. Because she was able to go into this topic, the dating market approach versus it being a way of life, a frame of mind, and an open mind. It says an open mind would be my next interview. Is it dangerous? All right. So who's next? Do we continue to kill the Pan-African argument? I think the Pan-African argument gets to this point here when oh shit. Oh, I got you. Okay. Let me see. I see it's up, but it's not showing. There we go. That's where we're at. It gets to this point when it becomes a distraction is my position that we have work to do here, and that our work aligns with the general direction of America. It would be the primary reason why I say yes, we should know what the executive orders are. We should have bills that are on the table that are supposed to be a positive impact to us, identified by us specifically. And that bill currently is the Justice for Black Farmers Act. And yes, people do know about the Justice for Black Farmers from Obama, but the conversation was not being extended into, well, what's going on today. We know that a lot happened with the ADOS, and they had a momentum going. And the FBA came in, and so many other conversations around identity that we needed a more formalized, written contract that dealt with Black America. Once we can take the let's go back to Africa off the table, then we can get back to, well, in America, what's important? And for that, we say climate change. You start broad, because in order to combat climate change, the things that they say we're going to need are the things that impact the climate. The water, for instance, the forestry, pollution, carbon emissions. We get caught up before we can get there, dealing with distractions like these. Oh wait, hopefully y'all still with me. Hold on, let me get him. Boom, and it works. Got you. Now let's get into it. This is where I left off before I went on my long rant. I'm still on a long rant, and it might be an all-day rant, except at 5:30, I'm gonna go check out Taz, and then I'll come back a little bit later. All right, so what do we see? There's 10 thinking errors that are sabotaging the African American. I don't know if all of these agree or to what extent, which ones agree most often, which ones we would tend to disagree. But let's review these first to get what stops us from fighting back today. What stops us from owning the homes? What stops us from being, leaders in the cannabis business or the hemp business, leaders in agriculture again? We can kill the conversation by saying we peaked in 1914 with about, 12%? But today we're less than 2%. And once that statistic is thrown out, it goes to, well, what's your solution? But before we get there, it's, well, what's actually stopping us right now? Because if there's nothing stopping us right now, then that's on us. They look at the black male pathology. Some say we're lazy. Some say we just don't apply ourselves. Some black men really believe that these type of conversations don't apply to them. But let's look at them. How do the positives outweigh the negatives in this instance? You have a character on mental filtering that is looking through their box or through their own lens. What they can see, what it looks like they're looking at, would be the burning house. Reference for us is from a Black First perspective. What was said to be a Martin Luther King Jr. statement, I fear I have integrated us into a burning house. Mental filtering, as described in this cartoon, is the tendency to focus on negative events while neglecting the positives. It speaks to us in politics because we are waiting in the Democratic Party for some crisis to happen. The Democratic crisis is the climate crisis. Some people make it the racial climate, but it is the climate crisis nonetheless. Is the burning building in America as it relates to politics. While we're focusing on the racial aspects or the gender aspects or the things that are causing this building to burn, the storm or the conditions that we are experiencing, there are positives that are happening right now. But for some reason, we filtered out the positives and we're focusing on the negatives. In many of our minds, the negatives outweigh the positives, which is why we need to focus on the negatives. I'll give an example about the Chicago political apparatus. Have a conversation around the storms or the storm, the condition that's burning the house of the people of Chicago. We're killing ourselves. This cognitive behavioral pattern hurts the image of Black men, particularly when it comes to violence. Because many would believe we're not violent enough, and specifically not violent enough towards where we should actually be violent, where it would even be justified. But it also moves us into this next one, Black and white thinking. How many different ways could other people interpret this? And I'll give you what I mean. It is, let's use the one that was skipped. Go to 18. So escape, and then from 18. Perception, that's a good one. The federal government is more powerful than the Black community. It is about the same in actual power as the Black community. Not passing any laws that affect us, beneficial for Black people, the system designed by Africans. The system designed by Africans sounds like a pro-Black rhetoric where everything is designed by Africa. It always originated in Africa. We were the first. The federal government is beneficial for Black people. Has too much of a negative side to it. It makes you beg the question, beneficial how? It puts you on a side that says we would have a stronger argument saying it's detrimental than beneficial. And if you feel like you can defend that the federal government is more beneficial than detrimental, that's going to be a debate. But people may view this entirely different. Have a conversation with a Black conservative. They will tell you abundantly, over and abundantly and above, that the federal government is the only reason why niggas are alive today. that we would be dead had it not been for the federal government. What you'll also find is that more powerful than the Black community is absolutely what they feel. Let me do this for you. What about that statement? The federal government is more powerful than the white community. Let's take about the off. Passive language. The same as. Let's be specific. Somebody would say define powerful. I would just say economically then, if that's what they want to do. The government, the federal government is passing laws that positively affect them. We're just changing it one little perspective, one little underlying part. Oh, that's not underlined. God damn it. Fuck that one up. There we go. Don't worry about it. We got it. One little part. Same question. It becomes a totally different card. I'll give you another one now. The federal government is state designed to benefit a tool of democracy would be the catchwords. If you're a Democrat, yeah. Of the Republican Party. Changes all of that shit, don't it? The federal government is Democrats and Republicans. The federal government is and because we say they're the same as, we wouldn't have to ask that again. But to make this question even harder, we would want things that can both be right. But which one do you feel more strongly towards? Where do you lean more strongly towards as the strongest argument? Let's say if 10 was always true. So it gets away from that. Well, that depends. So the federal government is Democrats and Republicans. The federal government is, what do we say? 90 folks, employees. Oh, yeah. There, Black employees. Or do we still consider them ours? It's a good question. Holy snap. Is we on the same page? Damn, y'all couldn't even see the changes. Fuck. I gotta keep my head up. Which one you agree with? All right, let's move forward. We got 30 more hot good minutes in this bad boy, and then B1 Brother Moses will be offline. I'll be in the chat though. May come back a little bit later. But I just felt like doing a live. All right, zoom back out. We're looking for 1750. We also hear a lot of people in the conscious community talking about Igbo. So what we'll also see here, as we're even as we're dealing with the Gold Coast, the Asante people, and then the Dahomey, who were even, you got to get even closer in. We'll also hear them talking about the Igbo. The question is for these Pan-Africanists is whether or not they can prove, not what they believe, but can they prove their nigga that came off their boat when, since they claim to be that. I tell them I can't, which is why I'm black. Damn, it was hella boats that just left this motherfucker dumbass fast. Hold on. Is this mug on as slow as it could go? Let me see. One time, two. So what I would have to do is record this 0.5. Damn, and I need this off the fucking screen if it could, but I don't think it will. I don't need to see this. But as a reminder, okay, Portugal are the green boats. Damn, I need it bigger. So I'll make it bigger for y'all. Let's go. See it. Damn, too bad it can't get no bigger than this. No bigger? At least it's off the damn map thingy. All right. Dahomey, those are the women who divested, and when they divested, them niggas had to fucking go. We're giving real life scenarios, right? B1 Brother Moses want to give history. We're going to give you the facts, whether you're ready for them or not. And when you need to use them, that's going to be up to you. But, damn, see, that mug flies. The dots are so small, it's hard to see just how many boats are coming out of Dahomey. Because they was kicking their ass out. According to the narrative, they said they was kicking their ass out. The Dahomey tribe of women picked up their rifles and they started divesting niggas to fuck off the whole continent and boats. Let's just stop right there. We saw this boat here come out of there. The Rosetta from France. It was a 50-tonner, the Wida. Damn, did I do this one already? Yeah, I think I did this one. I just found this shit. Fuck that. We finna track this motherfucker then. If I did it twice on accident. Where they go? Santo Domingo. Haiti? Is that Haiti? It looked like it went to Haiti. They had a 200-ton. Wait, so you got a 200-ton of 382 that just got there in 1738. Let's see how many more you got coming to this bad boy. Let's get back. Where you going? France. That's an 80-ton with 85. A 360 with 540. That's a huge ass boat. 70. They stand clear. And all three of these look like they was headed down there to the same spot. Oh, they had to divert. He went through. He punched through. So like all of this entire wave is moving up. He couldn't make it. He couldn't make it. What the fuck is they? They're going to Barbados? It's a whole last wave right here. The Prince William, 273. Orange, Pompeii, Mali. And they were all punching their tickets towards Shepherd, Scipio. And see, this is Great Britain, but they still naming their boats after the motherfucking Romans and shit. To the Chesapeake. And many to just the Lower Carolinas. All right, so let them get there. They made it. And now we got two Americans coming. Ship unnamed from Gambia. Going to Boston. We know there was a lot of free parties in Boston, though. Arrived in Boston with 126. I'm not sure about a 1738, though. 1738. All right, they made it to Boston. Keep going there. Another hot wave just came in. 286. The Greyhound. Oh, this is a big motherfucker right here. Oh, it's only a 120. Oh, damn, they packed them thick on this boat. A 120 with almost 600 on it? Jeez. About 84 souls somewhere along the way. All right, keep moving. And they went up to the North Chesapeake. Oh, damn, the American boat just slipped by. Hella fast. It was a little motherfucker, too. Bryce, Falcon, Diana. Damn, another wave. They hit big on this year. Yep, that's about 1,000 niggas right there. Yep, that's about 1,000 more niggas in this wave coming too. And so out of all of that big ass wave, back to my Pan-Africanist brothers. Motherfucking, who is that? Damn, I can't put it. Let's get in there. All right. So after that whole big ass wave, thousands of people who just came in just 1738 to 1740. You mean to tell me you'd be able to tell me which of those folks came from Dahomey? Because Dahomey was the tribe that was selling niggas. Oh, no. Or you just want to stick specifically with 1750. All right, we'll wait. We're saying that it's doing mostly business with the French. 1743. 5. Couple of green. Green is starting to take over a little bit more. Damn, 2 big ass boats came straight out the lake. And there we go. 1749. Let's see where we at. It says 1750. There it is. So what comes out of this motherfucking 1750? We got an Igbo. For these motherfuckers who say they Igbo. 341 enslaved people and arrived in Upper James River with 280. Where's Upper James River? Oh, they punching through the Chesapeake too. Upper James River, that's Charlotte, ain't it? I mean, is it Charleston? No, it can't be Charleston. Upper James. It might be Charleston. Let's see. Upper James River. I got a globe. Let's get the fuck out of Africa. Fuck back over here to where all our land is. See, this is what this shit's supposed to look like when you're talking about 160 acres, and then you start zooming in and shit. It's like, oh, okay, that's a pretty nice size house. You know what I'm saying? It got a hell of a backyard, looks like. Is that what I was supposed to be receiving in this motherfucker? Only if it's the Justice for Black Farmers Act. Why would I feel, and a real question to the Pan-Africanism, why would I feel like I have a better case of improved quality of life with fantasies about what could happen in Africa versus the real policies that we have right now? Oh, I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, exit the ground level. The Upper James River. And it's a bit higher. Elevation up here. Oh, yeah, it's getting a higher elevation up here. You know how many of them say, oh, well, we don't have the land. America doesn't have the land for reparations or whatever it is. I say, fine. And then we open up like a map or something and be like, okay, what is this? If America doesn't have the land for reparations or for Black people to be entitled or to actually receive their land grant and their deeds, then what is this? It looks like land to me. And these I essentially would be the opportunities that I'm referring to then. They should look like this at the very minimum. At the very minimum, this is what an opportunity should look like in America. They got the house, they got the equipment, got their truck. I don't see a house on this side, so yeah. I have to come back and screenshot this because yeah, this is what Justice for Black Farmers Act looks like. If there was a picture of it. And they got all this land that I see, and they ain't doing shit with it. So don't tell me that they don't got it. And it's right there. Right now, it's just somebody else's titleship, which is why we say land grants, that the land be granted. And the only way that grant happens is through the USDA, which is the department that the actual Justice for Black Farmers Act bill is in right now. Or committee, excuse me. That's dope. That's fucking dope. What you can't tell me is that we don't have land. My question is how much of this land, once again, from the vantage point of skyscrapers and such, or from as far as the eyes can see, how much of this land is currently in the hands of Black ownership? There's got a pool and shit. So we see where Upper James is. The Upper James River Trail. Nice little river valley. This is one of the initial river valleys that allowed the colonization and the settling of America altogether. Oh yeah, I can see on the screen. I can see the mountains and shit and such. I can see the indentations. I know what I'm looking at with the mountains and shit here. Nice little mountain range here. Nice little pocket. So the pocket is where I would focus. What we got up in here? All this right here. What section is this? What you talking about? Who do you say owns all of this? That's the question. So right now they say somebody own it. Yeah, they tucked too. They was tucked. Who else? This whole little part right here. Whole little bend. Whitewater rafting and shit. Look like shit, that look like it'd be a good spot for one of them little rappel. How you can rappel down to like the river, the ocean or shit, or the lake or whatever. Yeah, that's gorgeous. I'm gonna open this one up. Oh yeah, that's a hell of a piece of property right there. And what happens is, the USDA, that same department is the one who gets to determine which land, when we come to conservation and all of that, what land is conservation, like national parks and forestry and registry. And that's where we have African Americans right now. And so the difference between saying this section right here is African American forestry, or the way that we maintain this African American forestry section will be determined by X, Y, and Z. I think that's a good job for the My Brother's Keeper Alliance to determine what would the My Brother's Keepers do with that much land. That's a general question that they would ask. What the My Brother's Keeper Initiative has 20,000 different eligible applications. All of them say yes, we'll put it through. We have 20,000 people who are now the stewards of this section of the world that we call America, Upper James. We have a precedent on it from who our people are. Now that land right there, it looks like beautiful land. It looks like there's so much that you could do that you wouldn't really want to ruin like the look of it, the feel of it. You do want it to be a place where people can still, hike and do all of those things. But for others, they would want to monetize a land like that. They would want to add some features and attractions and such. They wouldn't just want to live there in an interconnected grid that's a part of nature versus being a part of, the big city. And now you have no other choice. We need a clean green model that is renewable towns and cities. How do we make this come to fruition? I like that land right there for a couple of other reasons as well. All right, so we got somebody new to the chat who's adding some definite comments and such. The U.S. American Freedmen People's Nationalist Party. And I'm going to show this one as well. Legislatively, we must use the term descendants of USA chattel slavery. That's interesting. That's interesting. Thanks. I like how you say, I like the couple of key elements that I actually like about it, for real, is that it's still referring to what happened here versus the people who like to take the conversation to what happened here. And in that same sense, the people who would say we have opportunity where we can do stuff in Africa or we can form partnerships in Africa, I think those are important conversations with people to have at least open conversation with at some point, because maybe they do know more about the Mandinka. Maybe they do know more about the Gambia, right? Maybe they do know more about the Islamic relations with the Fulani people. They could tell you the stories of what happened in the wars that happened right up here. That would be cool. I mean, if they understand the Tuareg, they understand, and as you start moving towards real oil country and such, maybe they do. Good conversation as long as we're able to bring it back here. So let's go. I'm black, which means my argument is that I don't even really start. My story, my life, my descendancy, all of that shit doesn't even start until America starts. Everything before that, it's just asking way too much of an African American to be able to prove, or an average African American to be able to prove, if they call themselves such. Where are your origins in America? And what happened in America that you say you have a strong claim for whoever the fuck they say lives there or owns that land now? If it's the federal government, then the federal government only has to say yes. If it's some private business, then okay, or private family ownership or something like that, Bill Gates or somebody, maybe it's somebody like that. Maybe there's still indigenous people who still actually live and operate and that's their way of life. However that might be, I have my central argument. It says BIPOC, Black, Indigenous People of Color. I'm not here to argue even against the people of color or the fact that we're all included. My job is to find the Black. I'm Black. If you want to talk the African and who's eligible, is it Africans in America? At what point did that African become Americanized? Was it the naturalization law or act, or were they born here? How long ago were they born here? What I can tell you is that mines, which puts me at priority, it starts with America. Let's see. This is still 1765. What I'm looking at is the blue boats. They start to come in. It's just so freaking quick. It's not it's not it's not easy to see the American boats, the little blue dots, because at the time America didn't have those little blue boats. They were in the process of making them. They were using hemp to make the sails, and those sails were being made up in towards like Nova Scotia and such. The Hudson Bay and all of those folks, the sails and all of that were made out of hemp. Many of them, yes. Damn, I did see an American boat shoot that way. Somebody took the fuck off. Woo. And I'm finding that motherfucker took off. Look, bam, bam. Somebody went back hella fast. There was a blue boat. See when I can see it. Where they at? Bam! Found him. Ooh, shit. The Gru. This 65-ton ship left Senegambia in the offshore Atlantic, port unspecified 169. Let's read more. Cut off by Africans from shore. Ship did not reach the American. Told you. I don't know if you can see it. That might not be big enough. I said, what was that? Hey, y'all see that ship turn back stupid fast? What happened? The outcome. Cut off by Africans from shore. Ship did not reach the Americas. Slaves disembarked in the old world. Original goal thwarted by human agency. Vessel attacked from shore. Place where voyage began was Nantes, Senegambia, offshore Atlantic, unspecified. First place of shore was purchased Gory and Pertudo. What is that? Captain's name is Francois Giroud. Let's see if there's any other history about this ship, right? Hey, y'all ain't see it. They cut back super fast. They got Wiki, known as, was an American politician. San Antonio. I don't think they're going back far enough. Yeah, that's 1818. Now, unless you talk about your great-grandparents, you don't go back far enough. Charleston, South Carolina. Might try to get back there. Resting place. Nope, they don't got nothing about him. No children. Spouse. Occupation. No, that you are not the one. TSHA 1818 can't be. 2018. What is this? 86? No, can't be. You are not the captain. 1776. So if you are 1786, yeah, you are not the captain. Some people who were schooling in France, but it doesn't look like they were the actual captain. An engineer, survey, and architect, Francois P. Jabot was born in South Carolina to French. Oh, can we see that? To French immigrant parents and settled in San Antonio, Texas in 1847. So that was close, but an engineer, surveyor, and architect, that's way too late. 26. Texas Archives, original manuscription, printed material, 1717 to 1836. They still might be talking about the same dude. So yeah, let me go on and see if there's somebody else who gets closer. That wasn't it. That ain't the captain. Let's try that then. Original claimants to the irrigable lands comprised in the laborers. That's what I'm talking about. We finna go to what do you say? We finna hold we're finna hold what the Pan-Africanists say? They finna go hold Liberians accountable. Nigga, why you going way over there, nigga, when you can find a motherfucker that did whatever they did to your family here in America? Nigga, who is these motherfuckers and what land are we talking about? Francois Giroud. 1818 to 17. Now they don't got him. This ain't him. This can't be him. Map showing the names of the original claimants to the irrigable lands comprised in the labors of the missions of Conception, San Jose, San Juan, and Espada. We want to see the map showing the original names of the original claimants of motherfucking Upper James. We try to find the people who said they originally owned Upper James when our ancestors was there. That's who we got the problem with. That's who we trying to see. That would have happened before then. Oh, or maybe not. Or maybe not, because remember the boat got turned around for the captain. The captain never made it. Who is the vessel owner? Let's see if we can do it that way. Oh, excuse me. I see. Let's see if they got one. Context reversal, the circuit of de-elementation. Hey, translate this shit to English. Thank you. Oh no. Water person, vessel owner. Said the year, or Library of Congress. See, they're bringing me right back to the same one. Voyage information. Grew, cut off by Africa. Yeah, so once I put it in that way, it went back to the same one. Came right back to him. But there got to be somebody else. You ain't the only motherfucker who trying to document this. Somebody else gonna tell me what happened on that boat. Somebody finna tell me what happened on that boat right there. I need to see it. One of y'all got it. I need to know what story. I need the story. I need the details. Don't just tell me it happened. What happened? Historical newspapers, archives. Is it you? Oh, we got 1868. Nah, that's way too late. That's way too late, player. Way too late. Damn. Anyway, yeah, it'd be way too hard to do it as a Pan-Africanist, I believe. As a Pan-Africanist, to have to link it all the way back to where my people came from in Africa, the boat that they were on, the year. They say my people arrived to South Carolina in, and so forth, and then find the actual boat and all of that. And then from that boat, here's the vessel owner, here are their people. I think that's going to be drastically more complicated than it needs to be. And so for that reason, of course, I would say then the only approach then would be Farmers Act is to use the current system as it stands. And what is that? If it's going to come down to land or land as a reparation or even just as an equity piece, we'll go with what's on the table. The Department of Agriculture, Florida, once again, Warren Gillibrand Smith, Warnock, Georgia. So the GFACs. Who's Mr. Leahy? I think it's Patrick, but I want to make sure. Vermont, white boy. Damn, that dude hella old. Harry Reid just died. It may be cited as Justice for Black Farmers Act of 2021. He'd be cited by whatever the hell I call it. Establishment of the Undersecretary for Agriculture for Equitable Land Access and Equitable Land Access Services. I focus predominantly on the provision of land grants But there's some strong sections in here. Where's the one? The Farm Conservation Corps. I definitely like this one. In general, the secretary shall establish a civilian conservation corps. All right. Civilian Conservation Corps. And where I started with Taz at the beginning. Oh, crap. I'm 1 minute over. So perfect. Where I started with Taz at the beginning is back here. Since we've established that agencies are within the United States Department of the executive branch of the federal government, then the executive orders are the most important element that we would have. And right now, the executive orders that he pushed out in January 2021 are along the lines of what I just showed you in the Justice for Black Farmers Act. It's protecting public health and the environment, and it's restoring science to tackle climate change. Our excuse or our reason, our vested interest is climate. Some people get lost on the racial climate, but it is climate. And this executive order, EO 13990, tackling of and 14008, excuse me, tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. I don't focus on the abroad. I focus at home. I focus on the African Americans. I focus on us. It's rooted here in the agricultural. I gave the same reason that they say. It's because when they give these grants out, it does have a return, that it does work. I'm saying excuse me, that we needed a way to identify who do we give these to, and so who would be eligible. A process of finding out which of the African Americans are eligible would be to utilize Obama.org. And it makes sense because the same person who was Tom Vilsack over agriculture when it was Obama as president, that's the same person that Biden just actually brought in to support these impact and seed communities, which are already establishing networks. That alliance, that equity framework, I believe works, which is, and we focus on solar energy. In order to make it work, let me see, where are you? Where are you? Here it is. In order to make it work, we use the Justice for Black Farmers Act. Let me see. All right, so I'll finish up here. Are we moving? Okay, we're moving. All right. I'll finish up here. Hopefully we can appreciate, it may come as, it was too much. It was too much. There was too much going on. He was talking about this, then he was talking about that, then it went from one place to the other. And so I'll give a quick sermon to finish up on. Where are we? We are... Nyla covered that. That's that one. So this is the one I need. Okay, so Nyla covered that one. Let's go. Here's the game. So it's called Go. And that's where you go off top. If it's something that you're going off top on, it means I'm not as strong as on that, or I just completely disagree, or skip that card. It's a red card, not as important. Or you go on the clock. It's something that you actually agree on. It's something that you think is, I can debate this strongly. It's the most important statement that's on or that's available, or the most important option, I would say. And so being put on the clock is actually knowing what time it is, what's going on right now. A way that we can measure it is to just, freely throw out a couple of random questions every once in a while to challenge the people that, are in our spaces. The people who are in my particular space, or whose spaces I've brought myself into, would be debate leagues. African American people come together on a lot of different YouTube channels, But the debate league is the one that gets this next challenge, where they're going to have to play this game with me at least one time before I understand whether or not that's a good space or not. That game is to go off the top or to go on the clock. Because when I say debate something, I actually do mean start the clock. I do, or start the clock then. What do you want, 10-minute, 15-minute rounds? We can go and we can break that shit down uninterrupted. We can spark a debate right on the spot and be able to hold a scored debate on the clock. And it's hard to get there for a couple of reasons. But for one, because there's so many ways to interpret any given statement. So many ways to interpret it. When I look at this question, I deal with separation versus integration, or the options. There's 5 different options that basically summarize this question, and on determining which one would be the strongest. I know, oh damn, this does something. Oh, I do got my clock almost ready. Okay, shit. Sheesh. That works. I didn't know that it actually worked. It's built into my slide. So now I can actually take that clock and put it on each of the slides. That way they have that much time to make their decision or get to their fucking point. The federal government is, when I look at this one, I think about how stratified do you think we are as a people? Because if I take the federal government is off the screen, and then I put the Black community is, and then start giving 5 options, that'll really start telling us what people believe about the Black community. And then we take that one off and say, well, the Black woman is. And then we give 5 different options, 10 different cards, and we play the game Go, like Pictionary or like any of those games, like Scrabble with friends or whatnot. And we go through the list and we see where people's minds really are. I think what they'll notice if in this section, I'm going to clip it, the consistency of the first person to do it live, which was Taz Exclusives, the consistency and the messaging, sentiment, the way it was expressed and all. So let's get the rest of the cards since we know where we're at. What else? I think that was it. I think that's all that we have to capture for this show. I'm going to go back and check out those live interviews at the beginning of the show if you have missed them. Let me see. What else? Yeah, save that. I'm closing down my screens now, getting ready to jump off. I'm going to be about 10 minutes late, but we shall join. I didn't even get a notification. First of all, that's messed up. Maybe he was waiting on me. Let's check. So there's, oops, you might be seeing what I'm seeing. Let's see. Subscriptions. So these are the people who they say are live right now on mine. All right, he may have been waiting for me, giving me that little bit of bid. How the fuck does this? Probably because I used to talk shit so much. I'm like, I'm not surprised to this. I'm not subscribed to this one, but they often tell me that when they're live. It could be because like the friend of a friend shit. It could be. I am subscribed here. So because of that one, they keep this one on. Let me refresh. Damn, that's crazy because I was just hovering over this one and now they moved it all the way to the front. See what these niggas doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These niggas over there deep. Oh, they got a debate tonight. Oh, fuck. Suave Ball should be closing in on about 6 debates. Oh, this going to be a good one, too. Afro-Asiatic. This going to be a good one over here. This going to be a good one. Let me make sure. See what time they going, because This should be a good one. Suave got perspective, which is why I typically challenge the Garveyite movement, their leadership, the organization. I even challenge the belief system because I want to pull it out. I want to pull it out for those who believe in it. I want them to stand on this shit. So yeah, I challenge it. Is Out to Blue up there? No, Blue ain't up there. General Yashar was supposed to run me my fade. He didn't. Anon is up there. They said he quit. He may have quit the league, or I don't know. It be coming back and forth. These niggas just be, I quit again. It's like they best friends in fucking in the 7th grade or something. I see they are getting more consistent with being inclusive. Queen Cascade joins the panel. She got a new icon a new avatar for the new year. Salute. Cold Wicked, Gold Mine. The political plug. I think that's Domo. Up there too. Fuck them niggas. I'm finna play that shit.
Shut that dumb shit up. I don't care what you
That's
say.
something you could never do,
nigga.
I don't know if y'all heard that.
Keep talking about RB.
I'm gonna let you get it out.
Fucking Suave had to be hella subtle.
I'm gonna let you get it out.
A little thirsty, happy as hell. But I'm glad you have fun, and we want to see more.
Anon be quitting and coming back.
I have fun all the time.
Let's
I just
debate,
don't do it
nigga.
here.
I have
fun in real life.
You pick the topic.
I'm not debating you. Nigga.
You pick the topic and let's do it. I told you these niggas gonna have to play Go. That game called Go, nigga. The game is called Go, nigga.
Mr. T-Duck, can we engage for
Only 2 people who know what that means is me and Taz exclusives, nigga. When we say Go, nigga, we already knew what it meant. T-Duck turn it into a whole game of these niggas. That is starting to be right now on the
Hey, hold on. When you say the A9, fuck what you going through. You have fun.
Hey, hold on. No.
All right, my brother Moses, that's all I got for today.
You being addressed.
And I'm out.
You being addressed, right? As much